Well, these two teams are exact 64 wins, 64 losses, and oh yeah, 3 ties. So they're looking to break that 500 mark here this afternoon. You see Benny Cunningham squatting back deep in the end zone. 49ers won the toss. They have deferred. Bradley Pinion with 34 touchbacks will get things started for the San Francisco 49ers here this afternoon. There's a lot on the line for these teams individually and collectively, and we are underway from Santa Clara. Cunningham looking to see if he's going to bring it out. He will. He starts on the near side, and he's got some daylight before he's tripped up and taken down by Kenneth Acker for the San Francisco 49ers. There is a flag down on the field. That's the veteran Walt Coleman, who's our referee here this afternoon.
Holding, number 50, return team, half the distance to the goal. First down.
So Cameron Lynch called for a holding. So there's Case Keenum. And Adam, we look at Case Keenum, and they talk about him as being the perfect game manager for these Rams.
Yeah, wins are the most important thing, and he has 3 wins under his belt. He hasn't been flashy. Only one game where he threw over 200 yards, but if they can get him to play like he did in that Tampa Bay game, 14 for 17, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns, with the running game that they've designed around it, they feel like he can be the guy going forward.
Well, that is the big story today. Todd Gurley is inactive with a bum toe, so that means Trey Mason, who's in motion, will get most of the reps out of the backfield. Keenum to throw right out of the chute. And his first pass of the day is complete to Lance Kendricks. Let's take a look at the Rams offensive line. Tim Barnes, how about what Tim Barnes did last week? 2 fumble recoveries. He got the game ball because of those fumble recoveries. And from a specialty standpoint, we've talked about Trey Mason. He was the go-to guy last year, 765 yards on the ground. Well, there is Todd Gurley. We asked Jeff Fisher if a playoff spot was on the line, would he have played today? We thought he'd say yes. He said no. If it was a playoff game, he would still be out. Mason wrapped up from behind, but he gains the first down up to the 19. Ian Williams, Ahmad Brooks make the tackle. Let's talk about this Niners defense. Williams had leg fractures in 2013 and 14, but he's had a heck of a year. From a linebacking standpoint, Aaron Lynch just keeps getting better. He's back from a concussion. And Jimmy Ward makes the start today at the strong safety position for the injured Tart. Jim Tomsula, there's been a lot of talk about whether he will retain his job at the end of this season. He said, I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about today's game, and that's it. Marquez in motion. And Mason is hit in the backfield. He fumbles the ball! It's loose inside the 15. And wouldn't it be amazing if Tim Barnes fell on top of it? I think it's Havenstein who falls on top of it.
But looking for Trey Mason to take advantage of this opportunity, and number 59, Aaron Lynch, wraps him up in the backfield, but I couldn't quite see exactly who it was that forced that fumble. But for a football team that wants to come out here after a big momentum boost last week, beating the Seattle Seahawks, they wanted to start fast, they wanted to finish the game. Big mistake early in this game against the 49ers.
That was Navarro Bowman who knocked the ball loose. Second down and 17. Keenum to his tight end for a second time. And Ahmad Brooks takes him down. Jeff Fisher had his team stay in the Northern California area this past week after the victory over Seattle. He was confident that his team was ready to go today because their goal was to win 4 straight, and today would be the 4th straight.
They've really had a terrific December. Right in the middle of the season is where things really started to unravel, and I really thought that they had a pretty good chance of being a possible wild card playoff team this year, but things have settled down a little bit. They've gotten a little bit better production on offense. Defense has been outstanding at taking the ball away.
Third down, a little more than 10 from the 19. Benny Cunningham checks in for the first time for the Rams. Keenum going long to the outside. It's incomplete. Brian Quick was not quick enough to the spots. It'll be 4th down.
One of the things that Case Keenum talked about in our meetings is the fact that he's going to have to decipher what this 49er defense is doing. Last week against the Seattle Seahawks, it was a static defense, and they knew pretty much what coverage it was going to be, but they felt like Eric Mangini wanted to disguise, but they wanted to take advantage of the defense. When they did disguise, they wanted to go downfield and make him pay.
There's Marquez, who went in motion into the backfield as an extra blocker for Hecker, the Pro Bowl punter. Fair catch called for by Bruce Ellington. And the Niners will have decent field position. There's a flag down, however, at the 43 of St. Louis. Walt Coleman doing some separating here. 43-yard punt. Nobody wants to get hurt on this final game of the season. Nick Ballore lost his hat on that particular play.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask, number 53 of the kicking team. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down.
Darren Bates called for the personal foul. He took the helmet off of Ballore. 49ers will have it when we come back. Number 2 is Blaine Gabbert making the start for the Niners. 9 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He really has improved his game at quarterback. He's got a man in motion. That's Vance McDonald's. Off the play fake, he's looking to throw right out of the chute. Overthrows Blake Bell, his other tight ends. It'll be second down. Take a look at the offensive line for the Niners. Trent Brown makes the start again at the right tackle position. That moves Eric Pears over to the guard spot. And the specialty players, Anquan Bolden. What a special guy he has been. Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator for the Rams, was speaking in glowing terms of the toughness of Anquan Bolden. On second down and 10. Handoff is given to DeJuan Harris, who is stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Mark Barron comes up to make the tackle. Aaron Donald could be the defensive player of the year in the National Football League. We'll talk more about that as the game goes on. And from a linebacking standpoint, how about the week that Akeem Ayers had last week? He covered a fumble for a touchdown, had a sack. And Mark Barron, who just had that tackle, I think he's one of the most interesting stories in the NFC. Third down and 13. First series of the day for the Niners. Gabbert slant pass is caught. Torrey Smith. Let's go to JB in New York for an update on Tom Coughlin.
All right, Tom, and the New York Giants lost in a high-scoring affair against Philadelphia today. After the game, most of the questions centered on Tom Coughlin's future.
No one has decided anything. Where do the reports come from? Did you get initials? Did you get some initials?
Anybody got anything else?
Thank you.
As you know, Tom, it was widely reported that he would resign after the game. That clearly was not on his mind. Back to Tom McCarthy.
All right, JB. What a special guy Tom Coughlin has been for not only the National Football League, but football overall. We'll see what his future is, like a number of coaches. The next 24 to 48 hours as Tavon Austin lets that ball bounce inside the 15. Second possession of the day for Case Keenum. Let's see if he gets some offense rolling when we get back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency. Low fares, nothing to hide. Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, half the cost. And by Mercedes-Benz. Experience truly great engineering today at your authorized dealer.
Never miss a moment of football action with the CBS Sports app. Every play and score, every game and every highlight right as they happen. Download the CBS Sports app now at cbssports.com/mobile. And with all of the scenarios unraveling with the playoff situation, it's a perfect time to get that CBS Sports app. Along with Adam Archuleta, I'm Tom McCarthy. You just saw the sights of the Golden Gate Bridge. This is the site of Super Bowl 50, which will be on CBS, and they are getting ready for it. The Niners, the 5-time Super Bowl champions, thought there was a chance they could be here as a team. Case Keenum on first down. Off the play fake. He fakes it to Austin, looking for it all, middle of the field, looking for Kenny Britt, and he's got it! Tremaine Brock was in on the coverage, but Kenny Britt got some freedom.
Well, play action pass, and you can see the free safety comes up, bites on the run, And then Kenny Britt down the field, and if there's one thing that's kind of emerged since Case Keenum has taken over at the quarterback spot is a connection downfield to Kenny Britt. He had a nice 60-yard touchdown against Tampa Bay a few games ago. Last week they burned Richard Sherman on the sideline, and here you go, Kenny Britt down the field again, and a nice strike by Keenum.
54-yard pass play. Austin's in the backfield. He'll take the handoff, and he gets to the edge and then bounces quickly inside the 25. He can dance with the best of them. There is a flag down as he gets to the 20 before Keith Reeser takes him down. Boy, he is fast. Walt Coleman.
There's no foul on the play for a block in the back.
Well, speaking of Kenny Britt and some big plays, Week 15 against Tampa, a 60-yard touchdown catch down the sideline. He got some separation. And then last week against Seattle, a 28-yard touchdown catch as well. I thought that was the best one of the year for Kenny Britt.
Sure has been. Beautiful diving catch in the end zone, and that's really what they need. In this offense, they need a big, physical X-receiver, a guy you can throw the ball to when he's covered. Kenny Britt's been a little bit inconsistent, but moving forward, they need that out of that spot.
Offset I formation as Keenum has time, rolls the pocket to the near side. Time is elapsing, and he throws it away. He's hit as he tossed it. Well, we talked about the AFC playoff picture. We're going to keep you up to date as the day goes on. The big news today, the Pittsburgh Steelers were essentially bailed out by the New York Jets.
It's really unbelievable. This was the New York Jets game to lose, and it's really shocking that they didn't show up and play the Buffalo Bills a little bit better. The other thing that I'm looking at is Cincinnati now has a chance with New England losing to creep into that number 2 spot, get a first-round bye, and if anybody needs that in the AFC, the Bengals need that to give Andy Dalton that extra time to heal.
Yeah, he'll be evaluated this week by a hand specialist. Now the NFC playoff picture. We knew the participants going in, but tonight's game, which will feature the Packers and the Vikings, it really does play a huge role in seeding.
It does, and it's going to determine the quality of our wild card matchups next week. And one thing, I know there's a lot of scenarios that can happen, but I don't want to see Green Bay and Minnesota play again next week in the wild card spot. I want to see a few extra different combinations in there. But, I've said this to you off the air, Tom. I think this is shaping up to be one of the best postseasons of recent memory that we're about to see.
3rd down and 5. Keenum to the middle. He tried to get it to Wes Welker. It'll be 4th down. And the Rams will settle for a field goal attempt.
Now, one place on the field that this offense has to get much better at, that's their red zone production. Wes Welker running a shallow cross. He has him beat. And that's a throw that Case Keenum has to make. Wes Welker has the separation. And if you give him that ball in stride, that's going to be a first down or a touchdown. Now, Wes Welker is used to getting that ball in stride coming from the New England Patriots. Very few times is that ball overthrown.
This will be a 33-yard field goal attempt for Zerline. It's a good snap, and the kick is on its way, and it is good. The Rams strike first. They lead it 3-0 here at Santa Clara. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award presented by Nationwide has a long history of honoring players who have significantly impacted both the game and their communities. Each NFL team nominates one player for the award, and 3 finalists will be announced later this month, with the winner being announced at the NFL Honors Awards show on February 6th on CBS. And there's Chris Long, who's the nominee for the Rams, and Anquan Boldin, the nominee for a 2nd straight year for the San Francisco 49ers. Anquan gives out 5 $10,000 scholarships to high schoolers in Florida and San Francisco. Jim Tom Sula, his first year. Could it be his last year? Well, obviously there's a lot of talk, and there's been reports even today that this could be his final season. Here's the thing. The locker room, they love him. The players seem to really gravitate to a guy that, you and I have met so many people in this business. This is one of the good guys right here.
Yeah, it is. And look, I have no idea what it's like in that locker room, and I can't really tell you what kind of a coach he is. But the situation that he inherited this year, I don't know many coaches who would be able to navigate that successfully. This was a football team that was decimated by their talent leaving, and a very hard situation for him to try and navigate.
Ellington comes running up. We mentioned the quad injury for Zerline, and Ellington's going to get some room along the sidelines. And again, a couple of helmets being knocked off as the return took place. Reynolds had his helmet knocked off. We saw one earlier. Well, Jim Tom Sula, when we asked him about his future, we mentioned it. He said, I'm just concerned about getting these guys ready for the St. Louis Rams. There is a flag sitting at the 44-yard line. You wonder if it has anything to do with the extracurricular activity that we just saw.
After the play is over, personal foul, number 49, of the return team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, that's Bruce Miller who's called for the penalty. Boy, it was good field position, too, for the 49ers. And it's going to be negated somewhat with that 15-yard penalty. He was shoving Bryant. Bryant shoved back, but
I don't know what Bruce Miller did.
Yeah.
I don't think he did anything right there. I think that one should have been called on St. Louis if anybody, but such is life, Tom.
Such is life in the NFL. That's Blake Bell in motion. Mike Davis is in as the tailback in this I formation, and he'll take the first run up across the 25 in a beautiful spin move across the 30 for a first down. Aaron Donald makes the tackle. It's a gain of 13 yards. They were happy about having Mike Davis back here for this game.
Yeah, really big opportunity for him, and Bruce Miller comes in there, gets a really good isolation block on the strong safety right there, number 31, Moreeeee Alexander. And then you see Mike Davis. That's a big gaping hole. Love the acceleration through it, and that's the big play they're looking for on the ground.
The rookie from South Carolina, Gabbert out of the shotgun on first down, has time, and he's able to sling it to his tight ends, Vance McDonald. They gained only 2. Moreeeee Alexander, playing for the injured TJ McDonald, makes the tackle. One thing they said about Blaine Gabbert when he came over here to San Francisco, he still, and he even admitted this, he still treated every day as if he was a starting quarterback. Film study early in, even while he was the backup to Colin Kaepernick, who you see there. And he said that year off as a backup gave him a chance to really sit back and evaluate himself. And he was part of a very interesting draft class back in 2011. And we say that because of the guys that were selected so early. Cam Newton has turned out to be the MVP in the National Football League, possibly. But look at the next 3 guys. You know, not too much out of those next 3 guys.
Not at all. And I think you could justify taking Blaine Gabbert, you know, that high in the first round. The other 2, Christian Ponder and I think Jake Walker, were tremendous reaches, but not a very good draft class. Here's the good thing. Blaine Gabbert has a great opportunity here, and he can certainly put himself in the running to be the quarterback here next season and resurrect his career.
Bolden stopped by Tremaine Johnson. Pretty good open field tackle right there. It's 4th down, and the Niners will be forced to punt.
Yeah, one thing that I think causes a lot of frustration here watching this offense is their 3rd down production, and that's someplace they have to get better. Too many times here, you see the ball coming out, the receivers running their route short of the sticks. They're counting on these receivers getting yards after the catch, but they've got to develop an intermediate and a downfield passing game and get past the 1st down marker if they want to have a chance to sustain drives.
Second punt of the day for Pinion. Tavon Austin. Boy, this is a good punt. Tavon Austin backpedaling inside the 5. He'll start from the 4, breaks 1 tackle. There's not much there. He was fortunate to get back to the 10-yard line. An excellent punt. Case Keenum and the Rams offense trying to add to their 3-point lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by USAA. Join us at salutetoservice.com. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Rams lead it 3-0 here in the first quarter. Their starting field position has not been great to begin this game. Their own 8, their own 13, now their own 11. But Jeff Fisher watched that big play to Kenny Britt for 54 yards on the last drive. We'll look at that play in just a moment. Offset I formation for the Rams, and Trey Mason dives forward, 3-yard gain. All right, let's take a look at eye vision with that big play.
49ers are disguising. This is going to be a single high look where one safety's coming up and playing the underneath, the other safety getting to the post. But you're going to watch right here, Case Keenum sees that there's no safety back in the middle of the field. He's driving up on this route right here, and you see that separation. I mean, that's not even close. Kenny Britt gets open in the middle of the field, but that's just a really good job of recognizing the defense and taking advantage of the mistake by Keenum and Britt.
Kind of interesting. He smirked when you asked him about that yesterday, about recognition of the defense. And he said that's what it's all about when defeating the 49ers, is recognizing what they're trying to do. That's a little different.
Yeah, and much different from what they had to deal with last week. Seattle, one of the best defenses in the National Football League. They don't do a lot of disguises. They kind of line up in their defense, and you know exactly what you're going to get, and you just have to go out and execute. But Eric Mangini wants to create a defense that uses a lot of deception and a lot of disguise, and so it's going to be a much bigger challenge for him in his pre-snap reads and understanding where to go with the football.
Well, here's a 3rd down and 1. The Rams 26% this year on 3rd down. It's worst in the NFL. And they're going to go to Trey Mason, and Mason is wrapped up by Navarro Bowman in the backfield. A loss of 1 on the play. It'll be 4th down. A remarkable story, his return to prominence after missing all of last year.
Well, you're going to have to deal with the NFL's leading tackler, Navarro Bowman. He diagnoses this thing right off the top. He knows exactly where this football is going. He penetrates through the line of scrimmage and gets to Trey Mason before he can pick up the 1st down.
Well, here's Hecker, the former high school quarterback, to punt away for the 2nd time. Ellington back deep to receive, and he calls for the fair catch, and he'll have it at the 30-yard line. Well, the defense certainly helped the Niners. Let's see if the offense can return the favor when we get back. Tonight, 60 Minutes goes to the bottom of the Bermuda Triangle to unravel the mysteries of a recent shipwreck, plus an investigation on the mafia's role in tampering with the food we eat. 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS. DeJuan Harris in the backfield. Quick toss to the outside to Torrey Smith. And Smith up to the 5, up to the 35. Well, we talked about the postseason, but what about the draft order? These are all up to date. The Tennessee Titans will have the #1 pick in this year's NFL draft.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, they don't need a quarterback, and it's much too early to see if any of these college quarterbacks are worthy of taking that #1 pick. But I think that's a place that Tennessee can parlay and get some people around Mariota, get some receivers, get a pounding running back, and build that thing so they can do a better job of scoring points.
1st down up to the 40-yard line for Harris. Yeah, sometimes we forget they get the 1st pick overall, but then they get the 1st pick in the 2nd round, the 3rd round, and on and on and on.
Not only that, but it goes into the next season where you get the 1st pick as far as claiming people off of waivers and building your team and building your depth in your core personnel.
The other thing to think about, too, with the quarterbacks that are potentially coming out, what will the Browns do with the #2 pick? High formation, Gabbert. Quick toss out of the backfield for Miller, and he is tripped up immediately by Maurice Alexander. That's a loss of 1 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 11.
Now, really nice to see Maurice Alexander come up. He's made a couple plays here so far in this game, an open field tackle. And last week, you know, he's got a chance to start here for T.J. McDonald, the excellent strong safety for the St. Louis Rams. Last week got lost in coverage a little bit, but a very aggressive play to come up and make that open field tackle.
2nd down at 11. That's Blake Bell, the former college quarterback, in motion. DeJuan Harris takes the handoff. And he'll gain nearly 5 on that one. Rodney McLeod makes the tackle.
You talk about week 17 with nothing to play for, Tom, but I tell you what, especially 2 football teams that are very young, this is an important week. DeJuan Harris, one of those guys, because you know Carlos Hyde is going to be the centerpiece of this offense. Can he stay healthy? A big question, but there's going to be some competition to be part of that running back rotation. DeJuan Harris, one of those guys trying to make a great impression.
Middle of the field, quick pass to Patton. There is a flag down, and Patton is inside Rams territory. Flag is sitting at the 41 on the opposite side of the field.
Illegal formation, 74. offense. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Well, Joe Staley called for the penalty. Last week it was defensive penalties that hurt Jim Tomsula's team, and that negates a 21-yard gain.
That's got to be frustrating. They called Joe Staley, and he was lined up too far in the backfield, trying to get a little bit of extra depth to deal with that pass rush. You see Joe Staley right here. You see how far off the line of scrimmage he is, and that's pretty unfortunate. Blaine Gabbert diagnosing the Rams, trying to disguise, hitting Patton across the middle. You get a great big chunk play, and here you go. Now you have to deal with a 3rd and 11.
Under a minute to play in the first quarter. Gabbert so far 5 of 6. They're all short passes. Make it 6 of 7. DeJuan Harris has some daylight, and along the sidelines he's out of bounds inside the 35-yard line. So that's 31-yard gain.
That's what you should expect on 3rd and long. You know they're going to be conservative. They're not really trying to be aggressive in throwing the ball down the field, but Daniel Kilgore, the center. You see Eric Pierce at right guard getting out there, getting some blocks. Poor angling, poor tackles for St. Louis, and back-to-back plays. A big chunk for San Francisco.
And Harris catches his breath and runs right into a pile that is led by Ethan Westbrooks. And that will be the final play of this first quarter. Well, not a whole lot of offense. The Rams up 3-0. We'll return to Santa Clara after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. Wednesday on CBS, don't miss the biggest names in movies, music, and TV when Jane Lynch hosts the People's Choice Award. Live Wednesday, 9/8 Central, only CBS. Some St. Louis Rams fans, we saw them at the hotel earlier today. Could they be getting used to California weather? Well, it'll be a little warmer where they possibly could be going towards Southern California. And they may be unveiling those vintage Rams jerseys again, which they used when they were in Anaheim and in Los Angeles. That'll be a big story for the National Football League the next several weeks. July 12th and 13th is when the owners' meetings take place. Here's Gabbert on 2nd down, and Bolden gets position, and he's going to walk into the end zone. Touchdown 49ers. .33-yard touchdown reception, the 4th touchdown of the year to Bolden.
Competing for the ball, one-on-one with Janoris Jenkins. Jenkins has wonderful position. And this is really what Anquan Bolden has been known for his entire career. One of the best finishers in the National Football League. Outplays Jenkins for the football, goes in for the touchdown. Really well done drive by Blaine Gabbert and the San Francisco 49er offense.
Greg Williams, the defense coordinator for the Rams, who Adam knows very well from his playing days, as the point after is good. His eyes kind of lit up when he talked about the toughness of Bolden. This is what he talked about, being able to get position, using his strength, and then getting into the end zone. Blaine Gabbert may be 2-5 as the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, but his streak of consecutive games with a touchdown has now reached 8. One away from the Niners record, as he just hit Anquan Bolden on a 33-yard pass play. They're trying to make sure that the return team for the Rams does not get any freedom to roam. Chase Reynolds, the up man, takes that to the 30. Well, Anquan Bolden during his career has 38 100-yard games and 2 200-yard games. His 13th NFL season. And even though they've been down offensively, he still leads the team in reception and reception yards. And last week was a big week. 13th member of the 1,000 reception club.
Yeah, I played against Anquan Bolden back when I played for the St. Louis Rams, being a part of the NFC West when he was with the Arizona Cardinals. I tell you, as far as competitiveness, toughness, a guy that you had to deal with on every single play, it doesn't get much better than that. And he showed you exactly why he has been so good with that last touchdown catch.
Tavon Austin is in the backfield. A lot of times when he's there, he's going to get the ball. This time Keenum will throw on the run. A beautiful pass play to the 40-yard line. Brian Quick makes the leaping reception in front of Dante Johnson for 11 yards.
A big part of St. Louis and their game plan. What they like to do offensively is put Austin in a lot of different positions, and he's kind of turned into that that gadget guy, a guy where they try and get him involved in space. But when I look at him, I think he can be more than that, Tom. I think he should be used a little bit more as a traditional wide receiver. Allow him to run those routes and win those one-on-one matchups. And at times, I think he's pigeonholed to a certain position, and they should allow him to go downfield a little bit more.
Well, they toss it to him right here, and he's got a blocker along the sidelines. Now, do you like plays like that to him?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of his game, but sometimes I think that it's too big a part of his game, and I think they need to learn how to trust him to go downfield more and to win one-on-one, and instead of running these packaged plays or these specialty plays, put him in a progression, because I look at his route running, and I think he's gotten so much better. I think he's the best route runner on this football team, and he should be used more as a traditional wide receiver along with all the gadget stuff that they put in the offense for him.
Well, he's touched the ball 3 times so far, 2 receptions, 1 run. He's in motion to the far side, and they toss it to him again, and he'll get a first down inside San Francisco territory. Navarro Bowman makes the tackle. Is he cut from the mold of Percy Harvin, something like that?
I think he's more well-rounded than Percy Harvin. You know, Percy Harvin couldn't really understand how to involve himself in the structure of an offense from a route-running perspective, but I think Tavon Austin just has a better skill set, and I think that, you know, as they move forward, developing that and allowing him to run more intermediate routes, then I think you're going to see a lot more production and a lot more dangerous weapon, to be quite honest with you.
17th play of the game for the Rams. Trey Mason off the left side. And from behind, take it down at the 38-yard line. Mike Purcell makes the tackle.
I think this defense, Tom, and especially after talking to Navarro Bowman, you know, in our meetings, they're geared up to sit here and stop the run. And they thought maybe they were going to get a chance to get another shot at Todd Gurley, who, remember, ran for 133 yards against this defense. In the last 2 weeks, they've done a good job really taking away the running game. Now, the 2 weeks before that, not so much, but, you know, they have a lot of pride in this defense, a lot of pride in this front seven, and there's no way they want to let Trey Mason get off on their defense today.
Yeah, the opposition has averaged just 77 yards per game the last 2 weeks, which is a big deal, and Mason is nailed. Oh, man, was he hit hard. That was Jimmy Ward who came up and applied the whopper of a hit. Watch this at real speed.
Yeah, this is going to be fun to watch here. You see that smack right there by Jimmy Ward, and Jimmy Ward's getting a chance here to play safety, the position that he played in college and high school. He's been their nickel cornerback here for the entire season. He's done an excellent job playing in the slot, but because of the injury to Jaquaski Tart, they're putting him at safety to see what he can do.
St. Louis 0 for 3 on 3rd down, facing a 3rd down here. Keenum has time, but his pass is knocked away. Eric Reed in on the coverage of Jared Cook. I don't think Cook would have had the first down anyway.
Well, it's what you want to see from the offensive line. This is a pressure look from Eric Mangini. The offensive line picked it up. Keenum had plenty of time, but that was just another good example of one of these safeties. Eric Reed coming up on the tight end, making a play and getting their defense off the field.
Hecker 2 punts so far, but don't forget he has thrown more passes as a punter than anybody else currently in the National Football League, active punters. It is 4th down and 4.
You see it, you know, all these different formations, not a traditional punting set right there. You've seen it here in the first 2 punts of the game, but they didn't have great field position.
Offense, 5-yard penalty. They decided to decline the penalty. 4th down.
I don't know, declining that penalty may play into the hands of John Fossil, the special teams coordinator.
We're going to see a fake punt today.
Just one?
We're going to see. Well, we might see more, but we're going to see something in the kicking game. Keep an eye on Bradley Marquez, their special teams ace, number 15, when they align in punt formation.
So they decline the penalty on 4th down, and Hecker's going to throw it. He's looking for Marquez, and Marquez is shoved toward the end zone. Incomplete. Ellington became a defensive back. Boy, Marquez was shoved as he was going for that pass play. That's the first one. We might see more as the game moves on.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. T-Mobile. Ditch your carrier and switch to the Un-carrier. And by Honda. Hurry in for great deals during Happy Honda Days.
Well, the 49ers Museum here at Levi's Stadium features 11 unique galleries and exhibits chronicling the past, present, and future of this storied franchise. Well, we mentioned that Hecker was an outstanding quarterback in high school before he went on to star at Oregon State as a punter. And he had 6 pass completions already under his belt during his career. And 3 of them took place in 2012, including a touchdown on his first career attempt. There it was right there. How about that one from his own end zone? So you got to be on your toes when the Rams have Johnny Hecker back to punt the ball away.
That's a big weapon, and Jeff Fisher really believes in giving a punt return defense a lot to think about on a punt.
I formation on first down. Gabbert off the play fake, and his pass is incomplete, intended to Mike Davis. Now, we thought that there could be pass interference on this particular play on Tremaine Prock.
No pass interference on a punt because the defender doesn't know. Oh, excuse me, there is pass interference on a punt. You see the contact right there down the field, but Bruce Ellington with great recognition coming from the middle of the field almost, comes up and breaks up that pass. Good recognition by Ellington.
Yeah, any forward pass, whether it be as a quarterback or as a punter in that case, there can be pass interference as DeJuan Harris gets up toward the 45-yard line. So that was a blatant miss by the officials. That could have easily and should have been pass interference.
I thought, looking at DeJuan Harris, I thought he showed a really good, strong first half last week against the Detroit Lions. And remember, he's only been on this roster for a couple of weeks, signed off of the Baltimore practice squad, but he saw the hole really well last week, had a great burst, and you saw another example of that right there.
Getting another chance here. He's got some daylight inside Rams territory. There's nobody in the neighborhood, and he's down to the 10-yard line. Rodney McLeod eventually made the tackle, but there was nobody there to help as Harris was getting into Rams territory.
Well, take a look at the middle of the field right here. There is no linebacker, no safety at the second level. The St. Louis Rams are disguising, and you see once DeJuan Harris sees the cut, that's just an easy entrance into the secondary, and right there, Rodney McLeod just trying to do his best to avoid the touchdown, but another big gain, a gasher for Harris in the San Francisco 49ers offense.
That's a gain of 48 yards. It's first and goal from inside the 10. This is Mike Davis, who's down to the 8-yard line. Rodney McLeod makes the tackle.
Tom, you see a lot of different looks from Greg Williams, and there's no mistake about it. He loves to bring pressure. He loves to bring a lot of different looks. But here you've seen a couple of disguised looks from their defense, and DeJuan Harris taking advantage of those looks. I think they have to go into more of a base defense. Play this thing straight up. You can't allow a running back free access into your secondary.
Yeah, that was remarkable that there was so much room to roam for him. Gabbert from the shotgun on second and goal. He's being pressured. He throws on the run and just throws it away. Aaron Donald was pursuing. So third and goal.
One area where they've really seen a strong improvement in their offense here is in the red zone with Blaine Gabbert at quarterback. He's 10 for 13 when he's been able to get in the red zone. Now, they haven't gotten into the red zone very often, only 13 trips, but he has been able to maximize and get touchdowns when they've been in this part of the field.
The shotgun again on third down, dancing around. This is one thing the Rams were concerned about, was his ability to roam. No pass interference called as the pass was intended for Vance McDonald in the back of the end zone. Maurice Alexander was in on the coverage. And the Niners will be forced to settle for a field goal attempt.
And conversely, this is where the Rams defense has been outstanding. This is just man-to-man coverage where they're going to use the free safety to come down and double on Anquan Bolden. There's nowhere for Blaine Gabbert to throw the ball. Maurice Alexander again with really tight coverage on his tight end, and a good stand by that Rams defense after giving up 2 back-to-back big running plays in a row.
The veteran Phil Dawson on for a 26-yard field goal attempt, and it is good. And the Niners extend their lead to 7, 10-3 with 9:03 to play here in the first half. Well, DeJuan Harris has played for 5 different teams, which is remarkable to see him settle into the San Francisco 49ers. And today, 6 carries for 57 yards, and he helped set up the field goal by Phil Dawson.
Taking advantage of another strong performance and maximizing his opportunities. And last week, he only got 11 touches. Part of that is because he doesn't yet know all the protection schemes, and so they have to use a bit of a rotation, but a guy that has definitely taken advantage of his time at running back.
Well, 2 scores going on right now, 2 games going on right now. Denver Broncos lead San Diego 7-3, and Kansas City taking care of its business against the Oakland Raiders.
And Kansas City, that is a great story. And here's the thing, they've done such a wonderful job here, you know, after that poor start, getting on a roll, winning so many games in a row. There's a lot of teams, Tom, that I can't wait to see how they're going to act when the playoffs start. That they've been great regular season football teams, but you got to love what Andy Reid has done there. And with the emergence of the Chiefs, I got to tell you, that AFC, to me, is wide open this year.
Well, looking to win their 10th consecutive game. Now, meanwhile, for Denver, if they win, they'll have the #1 seed throughout the AFC playoffs, which is also another huge story, considering Peyton Manning is the backup today. Here's Austin, who's dragged down from behind by Aaron Lynch. He dragged his jersey. He did not drag the collar down. But Aaron Lynch showing a little muscle right there to pull him down.
Well, read and react. Aaron Lynch is trying to come down to take away the cutback. He runs down the line of scrimmage, and then he just uses that large wingspan of his to grab the jersey of Tavon Austin and get him to the ground. And boy, that was a good play, because if he didn't make that tackle, that was going to be one-on-one with Austin on a safety, something that I think you would like if you're a Rams fan.
2nd down and 6. That's Welker in motion. And the handoff is given to Malcolm Brown, who was just activated today. And Brown gets across the 35. Navarro Bowman makes the tackle. Undrafted free agent out of Texas, off the practice squad. Jeff Fisher told us yesterday he's probably going to get 4 or 5 reps depending on how he plays. The one thing that Jeff Fisher said to us, he said, hey, he's a big dude. Like, he's going to rumble through.
Yeah, and what did he say? He said, hey, I like to stockpile running backs.
Yeah.
And so they have running backs that fit a lot of different roles. And like you said, they love his size and his physical style.
So he gets it again and moves the pile up across the 40 to the 41. Todd Gurley, who is inactive today. Again, we mentioned before that Jeff Fisher told us yesterday, even if the Rams were battling for a playoff spot, Gurley would not have been active today.
I don't know. You believe that?
I have to believe the man. He told us yesterday that.
You get a chance to get back to the playoffs after a 10-year hiatus, and you're not going to put your best player in there?
I have to believe the man, Adam.
All right. I guess I do too, but I don't.
2nd down and 6. Another 1st down. That'll go to Brian Quick, his 2nd reception inside San Francisco territory. Well, speaking of Todd Gurley, is he the offensive rookie of the year? Pretty good class.
Well, I think it's really hard, and it's pretty unfortunate that 3 of these rookies are not going to get a chance to get into the playoffs. And a guy that's not on there, even though I love Todd Gurley, but very quietly, that you didn't hear a lot before the season, David Johnson in Arizona, who has really started to come on and be a major part of one of the best football teams in the National Football League, the Arizona Cardinals, as well.
So would you pick Gurley?
I would. I think he has been the best, although I like what Jameis Winston has done in the 2nd half of the season.
Malcolm Brown again down to the 45, a gain of 2. Navarro Bowman makes another tackle. That's 5 on the afternoon for Bowman. Navarro Bowman going back to the Pro Bowl, where he can participate now because the Niners are not in the postseason. The previous times they were going deep into the postseason. So he said he's bringing the entire family. So Adam, if you want to get a trip to Hawaii, then latch yourself onto the Bowman family for that trip. Keep an eye on Tavon Austin in the backfield, pistol formation. Wes Welker's first catch of the day, and Welker's got the first down of the 35. Gerald Hodges makes the tackle for the Niners.
Seeing a pretty conservative game plan from Rob Boras, the newly appointed offensive coordinator, calling his 4th game of the season right here. And a big part of the reason for that is the fact that you want to be aggressive. You want to see a lot from your quarterback. You want your football team to go out there and play at their very best, but you don't want to get guys in harm's way. You don't want a lot of shots over the middle where they can take big hits, and you see that they're running a lot of screens, getting Austin involved, Welker involved. Very conservative here for the Rams offense.
Jeff Fisher said the big change is that he relies on the run more, and he's more innovative on 3rd down, and he likes that. As Keenum misses on that pass play to Austin.
And it's these routine throws that you got to make. If you want to be better than the 31st ranked passing offense in the National Football League, you've got to be able to deliver an out route to your wide receiver that wins one-on-one against the quarterback, and that's something this offense hasn't been able to do. They haven't been able to make those routine throws that you have to make if you want to be a starting quarterback in this league.
Under 5 minutes to play here in the first half. Malcolm Brown out of the backfield, stood up immediately by Gerald Hodges. And that'll be a loss of nearly 3 on the play. And a flag comes in late. Actually, 2 flags come in late. Ahmad Brooks was in the mix there. This may go against the Niners.
After the play's over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 55, defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. First down.
Brooks will head toward the sidelines. Here we go. Take a look.
He got hands to the face, but again, St. Louis Rams. Boy, the Rams are getting away with a big bait job. Tim Barnes getting the best of Ahmad Brooks. Tom, let me ask you a question. You got Trey Mason, you've got Benny Cunningham, you've got Tavon Austin. You're going to throw a screen to Malcolm Brown?
I was thinking the same thing. The guy that was scheduled to play maybe 5 plays here this afternoon. He's in again. First down from the 21. He'll get it again. And he's wrapped up from behind and taken down. That's Eli Harold, the rookie out of Virginia, who they say is getting better and better as this year has gone on.
Good play out there by Harold, but Eric Armstead, the team's first-round draft pick, completely dominated that right side of the St. Louis Rams offensive line, just getting at the rookie Rob Havenstein from Wisconsin, and that's the reason why Harold was able to come up and make that play. But that's what they need from number 91 at the point of attack in the run game, getting into the backfield.
Second down and long. Keenum to the far side for Austin, who makes the diving reception inside the 15. Dante Johnson on the coverage. He'll be shy of the first down by about 3 yards.
See, Tom, I like that. That's the timing you want to see. Austin selling that he's going deep, and as soon as he comes out of his break, Case Keenum hits him right on time and right on target. You see the mechanics in the pocket was very good. Tavon Austin makes that diving catch, but that's that timing and the precision that you need in the passing game to be productive.
In the backfield is Benny Cunningham. Case Keenum is directing some traffic to the far side of the field. On third down, middle of the field, leaping attempt by Brian Quick, and it's broken up by Eric Reed.
Like the play from the middle of the field by the former first-rounder Eric Reed. And not a good throw by Keenum, throwing that ball high, leaving his wide receiver out to dry in the middle of the field. And boy, Brian Quick going up there trying to make a play, but just not a good sequence from Keenum trying to get in the middle of the football field.
Well, he's fortunate that he landed on his back. Here's Zerline, his second field goal attempt of the day. This one of 32 yards, and it is good. A 4-point ball game. 2:43 to play before we reach halftime.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com. And by Amazon Fire TV. Change the way you TV.
Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores, highlights, and analysis of today's games, as well as the latest on the NFL playoff races. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. They do exist. It's a collector's item, but it does exist.
You better believe it.
How many of those do you have stored away in your...
I have a few. You don't know this, but I wear my jersey under my suit and my tie when I do games. Absolutely, yes.
Just in case somebody wants you to come out and play.
You know, I gotta feel right, Tom. I gotta feel it.
10-6 ball game. San Francisco scored on a pass play to Anquan Bolden. 2 field goals from the St. Louis Rams. And Ellington is coming out. Well, he's got some confidence, right? Across the 25. Well, speaking of that touchdown, let's use eye vision to watch Anquan Bolden.
Well, beating one-on-one coverage is about position and finish. And you're going to see Anquan Bolden. He has to get inside Janoris Jenkins, who is playing inside leverage, but he uses his body in that craftiness at the top of the route to gain that position. And as I mentioned before, one of the best finishers at wide receiver that we've seen in the last 10 years is so good at the reception point.
53 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty. First down.
So unsportsmanlike conduct called against the Rams. Darren Bates. So Jim Tom Sula's team with 2:38 to play here in the first half is going to get excellent field position because of that penalty. He's got 3 timeouts left. Hey, why not? You know, you wonder how conservative teams are going to be at this point in the year, the final game. I don't see that much conservatism that's out of the ordinary for either one of these teams.
Well, you know, not out of the ordinary. They like to throw the ball very short. And I think that's the one area, especially after talking to Blaine Gabbert in our meetings. He said that first and foremost, I have to do a good job of taking care of the football. That we have to make sure that we end our drives in some sort of a kick. But if you want to play quarterback in the National Football League and you want to be a playoff team or a Super Bowl type team, you've got to be able to drive that ball down the field. And that's what both of these quarterbacks have to do now and into the future, is make those throws downfield.
Last play before the 2-minute warning. Out of the backfield is Mike Davis for a first down. And that'll take us to the 2-minute warning with the Niners on top by 4 and driving. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores, highlights, and analysis of today's games. Plus, they'll talk about the postseason and the alignment. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Along with Adam Archuleta, I'm Tom McCarthy. We've got 2 minutes to play first half. On first down, Gabbert trying to set up the screen, and it's intercepted off the deflection. Eugene Sims rumbling to the outside. Can he get into the end zone? No, he stopped inside the 5. For Greg Williams and the Rams defense, it is a dream play. Aaron Donald with the tip, and then Eugene Sims with the interception.
Well, one reason why the Rams have been on a nice little win streak here as of late is because of the play of their defense, and primarily making these big plays and scoring on defense. Last week it was a big Akeem Ayers fumble return that got them on the board early, and then here again in this game, Aaron Donald at the center of it, and then Eugene Sims with great awareness picking that ball off and getting it inside the 5-yard line.
That's a 42-yard return. He said that defensive line room, Aaron Donald said it's a room of pranksters. He said they just get along on and off the field. Off the handoff to Mason, he's stopped in the backfield. Jimmy Ward makes the tackle.
No rush right here for St. Louis. You want to be able to run the time off.
Team timeout. San Francisco, 30-second timeout.
For San Francisco, it's their first timeout. We talked about Blaine Gabbert. He hasn't made a lot of mistakes recently. And Boy, that was just throwing the ball into the neighborhood of a guy that could be the defensive player of the year in the National Football League.
Yeah, and as I see it, I love J.J. Watt. You really can't go wrong with that. But for interior defensive lineman, a guy that lines up in the 3 technique, and that's in the outside shade of the guard, and he moves all over that defensive line, to be so disruptive, not only against the pass, but also against the run. I don't think he's blockable, and I think he is a demolition expert along that St. Louis Rams defensive line, and there's nothing you can do to get away with him. He's going to be lined up right there over the center and the guard, wreaking havoc all day long.
Second and goal. Here's Trey Mason. He's looking to throw. Now he's going to keep it himself into the end zone. He fumbled the ball, but it's a touchdown, St. Louis. Recovered in the end zone by the Rams, but they signaled touchdown before Trey Mason lost the ball.
A touchdown.
And boy, did he take a hit when he got into the end zone. Eric Reed laid the boom.
Eric Reed's been playing a physical game. They're trying to set up the halfback pass, and Trey Mason recognizes that he can't make a big mistake there. He pulls it down, gets across the goal line. And just an unbelievable job by the St. Louis Rams. This is their formula. They're not a high-scoring offensive team. They're one of the worst offenses in the National Football League. But when they have played well, their defense, they've done a really good job in the field position game, scoring on defense, maximizing on plays. And there's a great example of a Jeff Fisher type football team.
Well, Zerline's point after is good, so the interception sets up the run by Trey Mason. They confirm the touchdown. We've got some pushing going on after the extra point. Trey Mason playing for the injured Todd Gurley gets the score. People affected by severe weather and other disasters need help now. To support those impacted by disasters like the severe weather in Illinois, Missouri, and Texas, and countless other crises, text Red Cross at 90999 to give $10 to American Red Cross Disaster Relief. Talked to Jeff Fisher yesterday about the floods that have been going on in St. Louis after 10 inches of rain over a 3-day period. He said one player, Maurice Alexander's family, was affected by it, but they were able to take care of that. He also said that when the Rams get home, they'll certainly do some things to help out, but fortunately the waters have receded. There's Maurice, St. Louis native. Ellington is going to take a knee on this one. All right, let's go back to iVision on the crazy play when the Rams had the ball the last time in the red zone.
Well, I like what I'm seeing from Eric Reed, the safety, all the way from this side of the field.
San Francisco.
They're trying to get Brian Quick the ball right there in the middle, but the recognition from Eric Reed coming all the way from the other hash mark puts a big hit. Look at that elevation right
awesome.
there. I mean, that is, he's 6 feet high. His feet are about 9 feet high. But Eric Reed, you've seen him a few times here in this game, playing a really physical brand of football. Playing tough here today.
3-point lead for the Rams. DeJuan Harris can't corral that pass from Gabbert. 1:28 to play. San Francisco has 2 timeouts left. Eric Reed having a solid day with some pretty strong hits and some open field tackles. What do you think San Francisco is going to do here, Adam? Are they going to try to get some points with 1:28 to play?
Yeah, I think you have to. Now, you got to be careful here. You're in really bad field position. And there's still plenty of time left on the clock for St. Louis to do something if they get the ball. But I think you got to try and be aggressive.
Here's Harris. Underneath pass has the first down. That is up to the 34. Gain of 14. LaMarcus Joyner makes the tackle.
Yeah, the key thing that you look out for in a hurry-up offense is getting past that 30, 35-yard line. Now you have a little bit more room to take a shot down the field.
Here's Bolden, short pass, not much there. It wasn't a great pass from Gabbert. Janoris Jenkins makes the tackle. All right, so they're not using one of their timeouts with under a minute to play, one of their 2 timeouts. They need to get to at least the 38 in theory for Phil Dawson's range. 38 of St. Louis. Short pass and incomplete. It'll be 3rd down.
You hear it from the crowd, and really conservative on offense. And I thought that Blaine Gabbert, they ran 4 vertical route Vance McDonald was the seam player on the inside. I felt like he was open down the seam, but Gabbert checking that ball down. And look, it's week 17. I know you don't want to make mistakes. I know you don't want to get anybody hurt, but I think you have nothing to lose by going out there and slinging that ball around.
He started out 7 of 8. He's now 3 of his last 9. It's 3rd down and 9. He'll step up in the pocket, and he tried to just dump it off, but he kind of palmed it. Well, he says it's his bad, and it looked like it was once he stepped up in the pocket.
Yeah, you know, the ball comes out of his hand, but it's still just a check down.
Yeah.
And, you know, DeJuan Harris, even if he catches that ball, he's going to get 3 or 4 yards after the catch at the max. I think it's going to be very hard for him to pick up that first down, but I think it's pretty disappointing that you failed to attack anywhere intermediate or downfield on that drive as the first half is coming to a close.
The flag comes in.
False start, number 20, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
All right, so that 5-yard penalty against the 49ers, Jim Tom Sula's squad, means that Tavon Austin can slide up a little bit. This is one of the more prolific punt returners in football. He has a touchdown already this year. I thought he was going to go last week against the Seahawks. He calls for the fair catch and comes running up and grabs it at the 34. Well, we've had some fun with our eye vision. So take a look at the touchdown by the St. Louis Rams and Trey Mason.
Yeah, I'm kind of digging this. This is a halfback pass, and you see Trey Mason is going to come out here to his right, and they're looking for, I believe, Bradley Marquez right there in the back of the end zone, but he's covered up, and then he sees, hey, I got to go out there. I got to make something happen. He tucks the ball away, gets across the goal line, takes a big hit from Eric Reed, but that was pretty good execution by Trey Mason, the second-year player for the Rams.
All right, so the Rams are up by 3. They have 3 timeouts, and they've got a guy in Greg Zuerlein who has a 61-yarder this year. Now, he is battling a quad injury, but they have an opportunity to maybe get some more points. Off the play fake. Marquez right at midfield. Looks like he may have lost the ball for a moment, but they're going to say that play was done as they mark it at the 49.
Hey, you got plenty of time here, 19 seconds left, and you know that you don't have to get too many more yards to get into the field goal range by Zuerlein, and 3 timeouts.
And now they're calling that an incomplete pass.
Incomplete.
I think he caught it.
2nd down.
I thought he caught it too. Well,
I don't think that ball.
Please
I
reset
don't
the
think that ball
clock
hit
for
the ground.
23 seconds, please. 23.
This is going to be the angle right here, but I don't believe that ball hit the ground, Tom.
Boy, that's awfully close. I think he has it.
I think he has it. I think he trapped it against his forearm.
Yeah.
And I think I see some space right there.
The previous play will be reviewed.
All right, so we're under 2 minutes in the first half, so they will review this. We'll take a timeout. Jeff Fisher happy about at least the fact they're going to take a look at it. Well, the call on the field is an incomplete pass to Bradley Marquez. It's tough to see whether the ball hits the ground, but Walt Coleman was under the hood, so he's going to give us the decision.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Incomplete pass.
Mike Carey, our officiating expert. Mike, what did you see from New York on that play?
Well, the rule is clear. If it's not indisputable that that call on the field is incorrect, then the ruling stands. And as you see the ball graze by the ground, it's not really clear and apparent if it really touches. And so the rule on the field is what should persist, and that's what happens.
Mike, if they had called that a catch, do you think the same thing would have happened, that they would have marked the ball in favor of the Rams inside 49ers territory?
Absolutely, they would have given it a catch. Anything that was ruled on the field would have stood.
Yep. All right, Mike, we appreciate that. We've appreciated your help all year long. On 2nd down and 10, they mark it at the 34. I think we're in agreement. We couldn't tell whether that ball hit the ground or not. I mean, it looked like it was kind of slight if it did.
I think it was a catch, but,
yeah.
you know, the rule is the rule, and Mike Carey hit it on the head.
25 seconds.
You know, you can't definitively say
Correct.
that ball didn't hit the ground, but to me it looked like it was a catch.
All right, so 2nd down and 10 for Case Keenum and the Rams. Still 23 seconds left. We mentioned that Zerline in his career is a 61-yard field goal. 61 is the 4th longest in NFL history. They decide to run and give it to Cunningham, and Cunningham inside Niners territory. And he's out of bounds inside the 30-yard line at the 26. Well, we've seen 2 runs today, one for the Niners, one for the Rams, where these guys are getting wide open in the secondary.
Good work right here by Benny Cunningham, who does most of his best work on 3rd downs, and he reads the block inside. You see that beautiful little stutter step to his left to elude the tackle of Navarro Bowman, and then he has the acceleration and the explosion to get into the secondary and put the Rams into threatening position.
That's a 40-yard gain, and you're right. The force of Bowman missing on that tackle was what broke that free for him. On 1st down, Keenum looking to throw. He's looking for the end zone on the near side for Austin, and he overthrows him.
It's interesting because it looked like the Rams were just kind of going to concede right there and going to halftime running the ball. But, boy, Benny Cunningham showing his worth right here to the offense.
Well, with 9 seconds left, Jeff Fisher's decided to send the field goal team onto the field. We mentioned that Zerline has a big leg. His 61-yard field goal was back in week 9. And this will be a 44-yarder. Well, he had 3 timeouts left, but they decided not to use them and go right to the field goal. Now they're going to use a
Team
timeout.
timeout. St. Louis. 30-second
Could they have
timeout.
run one more play, Adam, you think?
Here's the thing. You want to run this clock down to 3 seconds so that you don't have to kick the ball off.
Right.
And give the 49ers a return. You don't want to put your kickoff cover team, one of the most dangerous plays in football right here. So, you know, I'm a little bit surprised that if you do want to kick a field goal, you know, why not run this ball down to under 3 seconds? You kick the field goal, and then you don't have to line up and kick it off again.
Yeah.
So,
even if they had Keenum,
kind of a moot point, but, you know, a little detail that I wouldn't want to go out there on the kickoff team, you know, right before halftime if I don't have to.
yeah, even if Keenum had taken the snap and just took a step to the right and went down.
Yeah, and then you call the timeout
Right.
with about 3 seconds left, so you ensure that there's no time after the kick.
Well, this is a 44-yard field goal attempt by Zerline.
Unless you're going to fake.
Well, Johnny Hecker is the holder. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way, end over end, and it is good. With 4 seconds left, the Rams build their lead to 6. Next weekend, we'll have 2 days of college hoops on CBS. First, an SEC clash between LSU and Florida on Saturday. Then on Sunday, a Big Ten battle between Ohio State and Indiana. It's all right here on the road to the Final Four. CBS Sports. Check local listings. Ben Simmons, the talented freshman for LSU, well, he went off yesterday against Vanderbilt. Well, here's the comparison between the 2 quarterbacks. Same completions, same attempts, and the numbers for yards aren't overwhelmingly different. The big thing is that Gabbert has the 1 interception.
Yeah, and here's the other part of it is, you know, you saw Keenum at least throwing the ball down the field. You saw the one explosive play to Kenny Britt. A lot of Gabbert's yards, remember, was on that screen to DeJuan Harris. That was a big chunk play. But I would like to see, again, the 49ers at least attempt to throw the ball down the field. You know, make this thing exciting. Go out there, allow Gabbert to show what he can do.
So the Niners will return this kick. The Zerline will tee it up at the 35-yard line. Rams are trying to win their 4th straight to improve to 8-8. We mentioned at the outset the Niners are trying to win their first game within the division. As this one rolls across the turf, it's fielded by Quentin Patton, who then just takes a knee as the clock winds down. at the end of the first half. 16-10 St. Louis on top of the Niners. We'll be back with a Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. The home of Super Bowl 50 is Levi's Stadium. That's where we are, where the St. Louis Rams lead the San Francisco 49ers 16-10. Along with Adam Archuleta, I'm Tom McCarthy. All right, we didn't expect a whole lot of offense, but maybe we expected a little bit more from the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, I think so. Look, I think they've done some really good things. DeJuan Harris has had a really good start to this game, but 49ers have to throw the ball down the field. You can't be scared. Go out there. You have nothing to lose. And I think when you look at the St. Louis Rams offensively, they have pushed the ball down the field a little bit. Third downs have to be a major emphasis. 0 for 5 so far in the first half. In the second half, they have to do a better job of sustaining drives.
All right, let's take a look at some of the stats from the first half. Jim Tomsula's team is going to try to rectify some things as we begin the second half. One turnover for the Niners. That led to the score for the St. Louis Rams. One of the scores for the St. Louis Rams. 224 yards of total offense. You know, you think about it, the Rams are without Todd Gurley, but they've rushed for 98 yards in this first half. Gurley out with the foot/toe injury. And the 49ers will get the ball to begin the second half. So many questions surrounding this Niners team. They're 4-11 coming into this ball game. Blaine Gabbert took over for Colin Kaepernick, who then eventually went out with a shoulder injury that led to surgery on his off shoulder, not his throwing shoulder, his off shoulder. And there is Kaepernick. His future here in San Francisco, like a lot of things, is sort of up in the air. We'll talk more about that here in the second half. Niners will get it. Ellington will grab this one 8 yards deep, just take a knee, and Blaine Gabbert will get it 1st and 10 from the 20. Well, Colin Kaepernick lit up the National Football League, led them to a Super Bowl, and then it just seemed to all unravel for him the last year and a half.
Yeah, he was one of the more exciting young quarterbacks with a lot of promise, you know, just a few years ago when they went to that Super Bowl. And coming into this season with all the defections and all the new faces and all the new core players, they really wanted to build this thing around Kaepernick and Carlos Hyde to get that powerful running game going. But the fact that it just didn't work out and Kaepernick seemed to regress really hurt this offense. And it's going to be interesting to see how they manage him in that situation going forward.
DeJuan Harris got away from one tackler and maybe got a yard on that. Maurice Alexander makes the tackle. DeJuan Harris in the first half, 6 carries, 57 yards.
You know, when we asked Jim Tomsula about Kaepernick, you know, I knew what he was talking about, because he said when he sat him down, he just wanted to let it breathe. And what that means, just, you know, take a breath, because sometimes when things start to go bad and that snowball starts to roll, you start worrying about other things, and your thinking gets cloudy, and it's hard to go out there and perform. And so I do think it's going to be good for Kaepernick to kind of take the last half of this season to kind of watch things from afar, to kind of process everything, and then go out there and attack this offseason. Whether it's going to be here or somewhere else, he's going to get another chance at some point to prove that he can be that quarterback. Where that is, I think, is yet to be seen, but he still has a future ahead of him if he attacks it right.
3rd down and 10. Kendall Gaskins is in for the first time. He is up close to the line of scrimmage. Here's McDonald, the tight end, and Alexander rips him down across the first down marker. A gain of 11. Vance McDonald has scored a touchdown on the opening drive last week for the Niners, their first score on an opening drive.
He was the featured target last week, catching 5 of 7 passes, and the Rams bluffed their linebackers inside. They dropped out in coverage, and Vance McDonald getting the ball and getting that yardage after the catch to pick up that first down.
First down, the handoff goes to Harris, and he's taken down from behind in the backfield by Matt Longacre.
Oh, he talked about the Rams defensive line. Not very often you hear the name Matt Longacre, but they do a good a job as anybody scheming up one-on-one opportunities, and this is a very deep defensive line, and they can get at you from a lot of different places.
Considering they're without Robert Quinn, a fantastic defensive lineman out for the year. Gabbert taking a shot, just what you wanted, Adam. And here's Ellington, who makes the reception inside the 40. He cuts back with a flag in the shadows, and he's down to the 26-yard line.
Little double move, Tom.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, 22 defense. The penalty declined. Play results in a first down.
And Bruce Ellington had a season-high 4 targets last week. And it's not much of a move right there. You see Tremaine Johnson, he kind of bites after a very conservative game plan in that very first half. And I like the aggressive nature of Jeep Chris coming out, baiting Johnson into jumping that route, and a good pass by Gabbert down the sideline.
44-yard gain. Here's Gabbert. It's a run for the first time. His pump frees him for a first down. You know, every time we talk to coaches who are facing a quarterback that can run, they talk about how concerned they are with that. And they were concerned about this.
And Gabbert, really, when you watch him, his best numbers are outside of the pocket. He has 64% completion percentage when he's able to break that pocket. And that was a big point of emphasis for Greg Williams. They want to make him, throughout the course of this game, play inside that pocket and trying to force him into mistakes.
Second down and 1. They'll give it to Harris. Harris has been slow to get something going. Akeem Ayers blew that one up in the backfield. And then Tremaine Johnson cleaned it up.
Well, one thing you're going to see from these corners, who have both had fantastic seasons, Janoris Jenkins and Tremaine Johnson, who has 7 interceptions this season, they'll get off of blocks up front and they'll put their face on you. They are a very physical tandem on the edges for this defense.
Third down and 1. And Gabbert will roll the pocket. He'll dump it off to Harris. Makes a leaping grab. He's out of bounds, but he has the first down. I don't know how this kid was with 5 different teams. Why didn't somebody latch on to him?
Well, they come out at this is a swap boot action. And I do believe Maurice Alexander, who was the strong safety down in the box on that side, got his eyes in the backfield, and Gabbert recognizes that and hits his wide open running back in the flat for a first down. This is a very good looking drive to start the third quarter.
Yeah, it's almost like last week against the Detroit Lions. Their opening drive, and really the opening half, was very solid for the 49ers.
And they completely fell apart in the second half.
Sure
They
did.
started out, I think they rushed for, 122 yards there in that very first half. And in the second half, only 3 rushing attempts for -1 yard. But again, I like how they opened this thing up, throwing the ball down the field. Bruce Ellington coming down with it. Now, again, they are in scoring position.
Facing a second down and 11. Gabbert has time. He's looking for the end zone, and he overthrows Torrey Smith. He was open behind the defenders.
One guy that really hasn't been able to get on track this season is Torrey Smith. And when you think about it, he's always a feast or famine receiver, one of the better deep threat wide receivers in the National Football League. But he only has 54 targets this year, Tom. His lowest coming into this season was 92 targets. And a big part of that is they just haven't been in sync. The protection has failed. They just haven't been able to get the ball downfield.
Well, they go underneath to Blake Bell, and Bell gets to the 10-yard line, but he's well shy of the first down. Mark Barron was in on the coverage, so they're going to settle for a field goal attempt by Phil Dawson. And a drive that's going to be more than 5 minutes in length to begin the second half.
Yeah, you'd love to be able to capitalize by getting 6 points and getting touchdowns. The second time today that they've been in a scoring opportunity and not come away with a touchdown. And you got to credit the Rams, who have been very good in this part of the field for forcing the field goal.
28-yard field goal attempt for Dawson. He's 1 for 1 today. Make it 2 for 2 this afternoon. Niners are within 3. Their opening drive successful. They get some points. Tuesday on CBS, NCIS and NCIS New Orleans team up for a special 2-hour crossover event. Don't miss a minute. Tuesday starting at 8, 7 Central. Only CBS. We are not in Green Bay, although it is a little brisk here in Santa Clara. There's some rain that's coming this way. Something that the folks here in California are certainly used to. 3-point lead for Case Keenum and the Rams. He'll get his first possession of the second half when we return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency. Low fares, nothing to hide. Fruit of the Loom. They test their products so you know they work. And by Verizon. Better matters.
Second annual Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award honors NFL players who exemplify outstanding sportsmanship on the field. Each NFL team nominates one player for the award, and in December, a panel of NFL legends called the list down to 8 finalists. The winner will be decided by a vote of current NFL players and announced at the NFL Honors Award Show on February 6th on CBS. And there's Joe Staley. He is part of the final group. Staley's demeanor and on-field success have resulted in his 5th consecutive Pro Bowl selection. He was also nominated as a team captain for the 2nd straight year. He is a good one and a foundation piece for the San Francisco 49ers moving forward.
He's got a lot of young players around them, and they feel good about the youth, but it's taken quite a bit of time to get the pieces of that offensive line together this season.
First down for Case Keenum and the Rams. Off the play fake, Keenum being pressured. He'll dump it off to his tight end Kendricks. He's up to the 25-yard line. Keith Reeser makes the tackle. Case Keenum, who was with the Houston Texans. That felt good because he went to the University of Houston. Then to the Rams. Back to the Texans. Hey, there was a big roar, and it wasn't for Adam Archuleta, but it was for Steph Curry, the reigning MVP.
He's a little hotter than me right now, I think. You know what I mean?
I would say he's a little hotter than you. Here's Mason. Mason maybe gets a yard. Jimmy Ward makes the tackle. Again, Mason is playing for the injured Todd Gurley. Steph Curry, the MVP a year ago, world champion a year ago. His team got off to an unbelievable start. Now, he's been hampered by a leg injury, but did play in the Warriors' most recent game. They are a fun team to watch. I saw him in college at Davidson. I didn't think he was going to be the NBA player he is right now. Incredible talent. 3rd down and 5. This is where Adam said the Rams need to improve in the second half. 0 for 5 in the first half. And Kenny Britt converts on a first down to the 34. Marcus Cromartie makes the tackle.
Well, so far today, I think Keenum has done a wonderful job of recognizing pressure and staying in there. The offensive line has pretty much kept him clean so far this year. And we mentioned it earlier, but the rapport between Kenny Britt and Case Keenum has been really good in the last 2 weeks. 5 catches for 120 yards, 2 touchdowns for Kenny Britt. You know, that's the kind of production that they've been looking for this season from the veteran wide receiver.
On the 34-yard line. Keenum hands it off to Mason, and Mason goes right up the middle into a traffic jam. He'll get a couple of yards. Let's go to New York for JB and an update on the Kansas City Chiefs.
KC heads to the postseason hot.
Well, they're still looking to get to the AFC champion West title. Demetrius Harris, 15 yards from Alex Smith. That's his 2nd touchdown pass today. Chiefs looking to win their 10th straight, guys. They're leading 23-10 over the Oakland Raiders. And by the way, JB, Peyton Manning's going in the game for the Denver Broncos.
Wow. Tom McCarthy, Adam Archuleta.
Well, guys, look at that right there. Denver leads at 7-6. That could be the reason why Peyton's going in. If Denver wins, they have home fields throughout the playoffs. If they lose and Kansas City wins, then the AFC West goes to the Chiefs.
Old Yeller has another chance, Tom.
Here's Tavon Austin. And Austin up close to the first down marker. Navarro Bowman makes the tackle. You figured that he had one more in him, didn't you think that?
Well, you never know. It's one of the more fascinating storylines, you know, coming in the last half of the season and then going into that postseason. And so, you know, it would be pretty awkward that if Denver were to advance deep in the playoffs and make that Super Bowl run, to see Peyton Manning on the bench, that's almost as awkward as watching him put a Denver Bronco jersey on after all that time in Indianapolis. That would have been Very strange, but he has a chance to kind of make, you know, a ride off into the sunset.
Benny Cunningham in the backfield. It's third down and less than one, and Keenum will keep it himself, and he's got the second straight third down conversion for the Rams.
Well, Niners with a late stem into the A-gaps, a late shift into the A-gaps to try and discourage the quarterback sneak, and really good surge by the offensive line to get Keenum that extra yard.
5:40 to play here in the third quarter. St. Louis up by 3. Each team has had one possession in the second half. Offset I formation off the play fake. Keenum's trying to set up the tight end screen. He had to get a little extra room before he dumped it off to Kendricks. Kendricks is pushed out of bounds by Eric Reed, but he's got a first down.
Both quarterbacks, you know, when you talk about Gabbert and Keenum, have that ability. They're not, you know, speed burners out there, but they do have the athletic ability and that ability to extend plays and get outside the pocket and find receivers downfield. That's one of the things that the Rams coaching staff liked about Keenum, and the fact that he was different from Foles in his ability to get outside and create those plays and not just sit in the pocket and get hit.
Well, he's a free agent at the end of this year. Nick Foles is signed for one more year for the Rams. Mason gets close to the 40. We'll give him forward progress, just shy of it. Navarro Bowman makes another tackle. There's Nick Foles. The Rams acquired him from the Philadelphia Eagles for Chad Bradford. Bradford had a big day today for the Eagles in their victory over the Giants. It was the interceptions that really cost Nick Foles the job for the St. Louis Rams.
It was, and much like Colin Kaepernick, Nick Foles and Kaepernick kind of suffered the same thing this season. Both of them really struggled in their situational football, whether it was third downs, whether it was the red zone. They just couldn't find a way to make those plays in those critical situations.
Flags come in. It's a free play. Keenum going toward Kenny Britt. Incomplete. I mentioned Bradford before. Sam Bradford, of course, the quarterback for the Rams, traded to the Eagles.
93 defense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Well, Ian Williams called for the penalty, and last week there were 7 offsides penalties called against the 49ers.
By all different players.
All different players.
That was just a small lack of discipline. Boy, that would be really frustrating. I would be beside myself if I was Jim Tomsula and that Rams defensive, or that 49er defensive staff.
Talked to Navarro Bowman about it. We said, was that cleaned up? He said, oh, that was cleaned up. He said, but we also think that the center was moving the ball, and that's the reason we were jumping. Quick toss to Austin, and Austin's got Britt to block for a first down. Back to New York, JB, an update on the San Diego game.
San Diego showing some professional pride.
JB is getting wild in the AFC West. Phillip Rivers, 13 yards to Antonio Gates. That's the 77th time that they've hooked up for a touchdown. Chargers take a 13-7 lead over the Broncos as Peyton Manning takes the field for Denver's offense.
I'm sure Adam Archuleta can appreciate that. Back to Tom McCarthy.
All right, JB, we appreciate that. So the Chargers up 13-7. Again, if Denver wins, they've clinched home field throughout. If they lose and Kansas City wins the AFC West, which is an incredible story considering where they were. 1-5 at one point this year. Austin's got a lot of traffic, and he decides to yield. Loss of 2.
Well played by San Francisco defensively. You know, they try and get Austin the ball so many times on those bubble screens and those wide receiver screens, and you're really anxious as a defensive player to come up and try and tackle him before he can get going. That time the Rams tried to slip a receiver down the field and take advantage of an aggressive San Francisco secondary, but they were on it and rallied up and made the tackle.
How about this, though? Each team has had one possession in this second half, in this third quarter. Trey Mason dancing to the outside. He got a great block, but it's going to be a flag. That's why it was a great block. He's out of bounds inside the 15. Brian Quick was the guy who laid the block on Dante Johnson, but he may be called for holding.
Number 83, offense. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
It's pretty blatant. You know, Brian Quick, Dante Johnson is in press coverage. You're going to see him on the right side of your screen coming in there, right there. Number 36, Johnson gets held. And that's what allows Trey Mason to hit the corner and get outside. Good call.
So the clock sits at 2:48 and starts to wind now as Quick goes to the sidelines. Remarkable ball control for both of these teams.
They got to score.
Got to score.
Both these teams offensively average 1.5 touchdowns a game, Tom. That's ridiculous.
Keaton to the near side. Benny Cunningham trying to get away from Navarro Bowman. He does with the stiff arm. And Carradine comes in to make the tackle. He gets some of the yards back. He's down at the 29.
Isolation option route. Benny Cunningham working on Navarro Bowman, and he's tough out of the backfield. Very difficult to cover him. Very savvy. And I think as you look at this running back core in the future, if Gurley is the featured back and you can sprinkle a little bit of Trey Mason in there.
Got a new center in just on this play. Demetrius Rainey, the second-year pro out of Tennessee State, is in for Tim Barnes.
Well, I think they're going to get Rainey for bobbing his head.
False start, number 65, offense. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
We'll keep an eye on the sidelines. Barnes went off, and they're taking a look at his shoe. I think this might just be an equipment issue. I don't think he's injured.
Yeah, I think it's just a technicality.
Well, and you see the effects of the center being out.
Well, trying to take advantage of the discipline problems that the 49ers had last week, but that was an obvious head bob on the hard count by the backup center, Rainey.
He needed somebody on the sidelines that could tie that lace a little faster. Third down and 13 from the 34.
Austin screen game.
Keaton, pocket collapsed. He tried to get it to Kenny Britt. Great pressure by the 49ers defense. Aaron Lynch, Navarro Bowman, Eric Armstead, they were all there.
Well, it's about time that they get pressure, and you're going to see a very well-done stunt coming over here by, I believe that's Aaron Lynch, looping inside to the A-gap, and one of the very few times that they've been able to get to Keenum before he gets back to throw that ball off. And if there's one place that this defense really has regressed from last year and years past into this year, is that ability to get pressure on the quarterback.
There's a 52-yard field goal attempt by Zuerlein. He usually has plenty of leg, but that one is off to the right. No good. The score remains 16-13. St. Louis on top of San Francisco. There's Zuerlein talking to Johnny Hecker after the 52-yard field goal missed wide to the right. It was a 14-play drive, and now San Francisco takes over. First down from the 42. They scored a field goal on their opening possession. The run game has been solid for the Niners. Mike Davis gets the run there. Davis now over 20 yards. He got 26 yards.
When you've seen here lately, the right side of that offensive line has started to solidify a little bit. Trent Brown, the rookie, has gone in to play right tackle, and that moved Eric Pierce, who was originally signed to be the right guard on this football team. He's been playing right tackle all year. But since he's moved in there, the right side has gotten much better, and you're seeing the results here today.
Davis tried to go to that right side. It looks like he's got a first down. Well, how about Trent Brown? When have you heard a coach say, yeah, we had to get him to lose some weight? An offensive lineman. He's 6'8", 335 pounds. He's number 77. He came in at 380, and he's down to 335 as we wind down the third quarter. But when have you heard an offensive lineman having to lose weight?
Yeah, well, that was one of the big questions, was his conditioning level, and he played really well last week, but then he just ran out of gas.
Well, it's 16-13 St. Louis. We'll return to Santa Clara after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. The NFL regular season concludes with Sunday Night Football tonight at 8:30 Eastern on NBC. The Vikings and the Packers for the NFC North title. And we look at the NFC North, or the NFC playoff picture. We knew the participants were all set. We just didn't know certain seedings. Seattle is taking care of business against the Cardinals right now as we speak, which certainly helps out the Carolina Panthers. We begin the fourth quarter here in Santa Clara. And Gabbert dumps it off to Mike Davis. So here is the NFC playoff picture. As Adam said before, he does not want to see Minnesota and Green Bay face each other in the opening round of the postseason. We know that Washington is the 4 seed. They can't move. But Carolina's putting themselves in position to be the #1 seed overall.
Yeah, it sure is. Seattle it's unbelievable. And we talked about this earlier. You know, two teams that were hot going into last week, Seattle and Pittsburgh, both with very disappointing losses. But both rebounding, and Seattle taking it to one of the best football teams in the league.
Mike Davis, as a flag comes
Holding,
in.
number 61, offense. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Andrew Tiller was holding Aaron Donald. Jim Tomsula, his first year as the head coach. Longtime coach, NFL Europe. He's been with the Niners since 2007. I mentioned before there's been a lot of rumors about his job status after today's game. That's going around the National Football League. Ray Farmer's already been relieved of his duties in Cleveland. Torrey Smith can't handle the juggle. Well, he got a first down and so much more if he had been able to corral that pass.
Yeah, it just, you know, the passing game, the inconsistency problems. This is just a simple, they call it dragging, a flat and a slant. And Gabbert hits that second window right there. It's a little bit behind Smith. But again, it just seems like they can't get a consistency, and they can't just find a great connection between those two players.
Gaskins checks in again. Here comes the pressure. Gabbert throws to the far side. Flags come in. Torrey Smith was interfered with by Tremaine Johnson.
Oh, it's good. Prior to the pass, illegal contact, number 22, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
At the end of the route, I thought that Johnson was in good position with his body, but I think he just extended, right before he turned to look for the football, he extended that right arm and made that contact past the 5 yards. You're going to see him right there. He was in perfect position right there, but right before, I think he just put that right arm on Torrey Smith, and that's why they threw the flag.
Yeah, so it's an automatic first down. It keeps the drive alive. It's first down for the 45. Gabbert tries to dump it forward. That just hasn't worked today. Second time that's happened. Aaron Donald was shadowing him. Second down.
Yeah, I just feel like they keep running this 4 vertical combination, and the inside seam seems to be open most of the time, but he continually goes to a check down. Let's watch here. This is the tight end. They're running a 4 vertical concept, and I believe right here you're going to see the tight end come open right behind the defense. You see that? I mean, that is a big play opportunity that they've missed all game.
Gabbert tries to dump it off. He gets it to Ron Harris before he's hit, and Harris is able to get maybe a yard. It'll be third down. Aaron Donald was right in the nose of Blaine Gabbert.
And they've done a good job up front in really kind of neutralizing the pressure. There you see the double team. Aaron Donald again making his presence felt. Game in and game out, it's almost as if you can't block him. Michael Brocker's on the other side, who's more of a run-stuffing specialist in the backfield as well.
Okay, so you get third down and 8. They'll go underneath again to Harris, and Moreeeee will stop him at the 39. It'll be fourth down.
You know, how many times, and you hate to keep harping on it, but on third down, not throwing past the first down stick. I mean, there's sometimes you design plays for yards after the catch, but you've got to get a downfield and an intermediate passing game to keep these drives going.
And not a surprise here that they're going to go for it?
No, I don't think it's a surprise. I mean, you're down by 3 points. You're sitting here in the fourth quarter. You really have nothing to lose. You're only sitting here with 4 wins on the season. You might as well try to do something to win this game.
50% on the year. Gabbert from the pocket, middle of the field, and Smith has it ripped away by Tremaine Johnson. And the Rams will take over. He was happy a moment ago, not so much right now. 3-point lead for the Rams. Tremaine Johnson makes a big play to slow the Niners' bid for a first down.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Jeep. Be ready for anything winter throws at you with the Jeep Grand Cherokee. And by McDonald's, teaming up with the NFL like never before.
The boys are heading down to Fisherman's Wharf, and they'll be heading here to Levi's Stadium in 34 days and change for Super Bowl 50. You can watch Super Bowl 50 and all the festivities on CBS. First down for the Rams on first down. Corey Harkey, the tight end, makes his first reception of the day. It's a gain of 12. Well, this is where the Rams really can capitalize, in case Keenum can capitalize on the missed opportunity on fourth down by the Niners. They got great field position. They can chew some clock up and just keep moving the ball down. And then get some points. That's the hope if you're the Rams.
That is the goal on offense, is to score points for some teams.
First down for the 49ers, San Francisco. Austin. He has a block. He took a hit at the 45, but he spins down to the 43. Gerald Hodges makes the tackle.
I think Eric Reed has played a nice game here today. You're going to see him on the left side of the screen right here. He sees Austin coming across from the reverse, and he gets outside, and that's what pushes him back inside to his teammate help. And you've seen him make some plays today in the passing game. He's been very physical, but a big bright spot for the defense here today against the Rams.
18th overall pick in 2013. He did not like the way he played in 2014 after being a Pro Bowler his first season. Trey Mason trying to get the first down. He's shy of it by 2 yards. They'll mark him at the 41.
Stop shy of the 40-yard line. That brings up a
third down and 2 for the Rams. Trey Mason today in for the injured Todd Gurley, out with a toe injury. Injured in the third quarter last week against the Seahawks. Limited in the fourth quarter. Mason's out. Benny Cunningham is in. Rams 0 for 5 in the first half on third down. 2 for 3 here in the second half. Keenum, quick toss to his tight end. He threw it behind Jared Cook. Fourth down. Let's go to New York to JB for an update of the Broncos game.
Peyton Manning paying immediate dividends.
Yeah, he's instant energy. There's C.J. Anderson, 1-yard TD run. Peyton 2-2 on the drive. They went no huddle the entire time, Adam. I know how much you love that. 8 plays, 80 yards. They take a 14-13 lead, and look who's joined the party for the playoffs in the AFC. Ben Roethlisberger and Peyton Manning.
All right, Tom, and I know you know the implications of this.
It's a big-time implication. I love the way they said it. He provided instant energy.
Yeah.
I'm sure that the fans were into it. I'm sure his teammates were. The no-huddle offense. They win. They get the #1 seed. The Broncos, that is. The Chiefs are in, but if they win and the Broncos lose, the Chiefs will win the AFC West. The flag comes in. We think. Walt Coleman. He's asking Jim Tom Sewell if he wants to accept the penalty or not.
Delay of the game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still fourth down.
All right, so they will take it, so they'll move him back 5 yards. They didn't do it earlier, and then the Rams faked the punt, and it resulted in an incomplete pass.
They wouldn't fake it again, would they, Tom?
I think there's a chance they could. I mean, they're up by 3.
This is a normal punt formation. Boy, these slot players are deep.
They're trying to pooch it away from Ellington. And Ellington will let it go over his head. And, oh, it's saved for a moment. But it hit the leg of number 47, Marcus Roberson. So the Niners will have it first and 10 from the 20. Roberson did everything he could except get his leg out of the way. To the only previous Super Bowl played in the Bay Area at Stanford Stadium in Palo Alto, Joe Montana went up against a rising star in Dan Marino, with Montana coming out on top. He threw 3 touchdown passes and rushed for 1 more as the Niners won the game 38-16. Montana would win his 2nd Super Bowl MVP. Well, some nuggets. This will be the 12th Super Bowl here in California. Florida has the most. They have 15. The first time in California since Super Bowl 29 was in San Diego. And you just mentioned the last Super Bowl. The only other Super Bowl in the Bay Area was at Stanford Stadium, which is remarkable. And you can see how things have changed in the world of the NFL. This beautiful facility here in Santa Clara. We're about, I guess, about 30 minutes or so from downtown San Francisco. There'll be so many events happening there. There'll be so many events happening here, and you'll see it all on CBS Super Bowl 50. This is a great new stadium. I mean, everywhere you look, I mean, there's polish. It is a spectacular place. On second down, Gabbert is wrapped up and taken down. Chris Long. His third sack of the season. Boy, he does make a difference being in there. I know he's been battling some injuries the last year or so.
And they've had to play, as good as this defensive line has been this year, they've had to play pieces of this season without Chris Long and, of course, without Robert Quinn. Now, Robert Quinn here, as of late, has been a big problem, or not a big problem, but a big reason for their defense. Maybe not having that consistency, but they can come at you in a lot of different ways.
Gabbert facing a third down and 10. He finally connects with Torrey Smith for a first down inside Rams territory. Jenkins was in on the coverage, and Smith just slipped behind him.
Well, it's about time that these two are able to connect down the field. The protection was there, so Gabbert has plenty of time to connect down the field, and he sees the coverage. He makes the right decision, and then he gives Torrey Smith a chance to come down with the football.
31-yard pass play. Harris back in, and he's stopped immediately at the line of scrimmage. LaMarcus Joyner and Mark Barron both make the hit. They're going to say no gain, so it's second down and 10.
One guy we haven't really talked about much today, Tom, is Mark Barron playing that weak safety position. The former safety who they've kind of carved a nice little niche for in this defense. And ever since Alec Ogletree went out earlier this season with that leg injury, Barron has slid down to play that weak side linebacker position, and I think he has done a terrific job.
Ron Harris on the screen, avoids one tackler, has the first down and more before he's shouldered out of bounds by Maurice Alexander. Hey, give the big man Trenton Brown some credit for getting out and providing a block to free him up.
Yeah, the big guy, number 77, get out there, look at the move. He didn't run out of gas here in that second half. And you also get a terrific block by the rookie Blake Bell, the fourth rounder out of Oklahoma, who this coaching staff raves about his future and his potential in this offense as well.
21-yard gain. Mike Davis running left down to the 26.
This defense, Tom, has given up a lot of plays in the run game and the screen game. You know, Mike Davis, another one of these backs with a big opportunity. And he had some chances earlier this season, didn't have the right patience, you know, didn't read his blocks very well. And they've seen that in practice. He's done a much better job, and they were excited to see what he can do here, getting some action.
Well, he gets it again. He may have gained a yard on that. Akeem Ayers makes the tackle. It was interesting to listen to the coaching staff talk about that time off, how he was able to reflect, he was able to sit back and watch. And Jim Tomsula said, listen, he needed it because he needed to know how to prepare. He needed to know how to condition himself. He needed to understand what it was like to be an NFL player.
Yeah, you're making big improvement, big progress here in practice. Important third down for Gabbert.
Flags come in, and there's movement, it looked like, on the Rams side of the field.
Neutral zone infraction, number 99, defense. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
All right, Aaron Donald called for the infraction.
Yep, there you see Aaron Donald right there, just getting that extra jump. Blaine Gabbert working the hard count. He's lined up right over the ball. Come on, Aaron Donald, you can see it.
8 penalties for Jeff Fisher's group. They're well beyond their average yardage-wise per game, and it now makes it a manageable third down and 2. That's McDonald, the tight end, in motion. DeJuan Harris trying to get to the first down marker. He eludes 2 tacklers and then dances out of bounds. He just got the first down I thought he did a little too much dancing, to be honest with you. I thought he needed to step up the field a little bit.
Yeah, and take a look one more time. Blake Bell sealing off this backside. He's going to come up on Mark Barron, who shoots his gun. He fires it pretty good, but he puts a good shot on Mark Barron, and then you get a missed tackle on the secondary support out there. So Mike Davis getting outside, reading his blocks, and picking up a very important first down.
Rams are going to get flagged for too many men on the fields. LaMarcus Joyner could not get off the field in time. I don't know if anybody saw him sprinting into the open field.
12 men. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
He's fast, but he's just not fast enough.
Yeah, there you see LaMarcus Joyner right there trying to sneak off.
That is a solemn feeling, I would think, for a defensive player, for any player. 2 penalties have helped on this drive, helped the 49ers. 1st and 5. They're down by 3. 5:45 to play, fourth quarter. Trying to finish strong. That's Bruce Miller, the fullback, who's 3 yards shy of a first down. Adam, you've talked about being in this situation. Really nothing to play for. Last weekend of the season. How hard is it?
It's mentally, you got to be very disciplined, and the first thing, you got to be able to protect yourself, and you do that by playing hard and giving effort. But at the same time, you know, you're playing to put out good film. And anybody who has any sort of personal pride wants to go out there and play their best.
Well, DeJuan Harris is very close to a first down. This is all going to depend on the spot. He's over 60 yards on the ground here this afternoon. Laurinaitis makes the tackle.
I thought DeJuan Harris has put back-to-back good weeks together. And again, going into this offseason, as they see how this running back rotation is going to shape up, he's certainly put himself on this football team's radar going forward.
Blake Bell is in motion. It's 3rd down, less than a yard. Oh, man, the pitch goes off the shoulder of DeJuan Harris. Miscommunication. The ball is back to the 21-yard line. And now we've got some pushing in the back of the end zone, and flags came in because of that pushing.
This did not look right at all.
At all.
I mean, it looked like they never even practiced this play. You're going to fake inside, and they're trying to hit Harris. But watch the exchange as Gabbert tries to reverse pivot and get that ball out. It just, I mean, that's the play. It looks like they never even practiced before, but the Rams all over it.
We have fouls on both teams. Personal foul, 21, defense. Personal foul, 10, offense. Those penalties offset. 4th down.
So it'll be 4th down, and the Niners will settle this time for a field goal attempt. DeJuan Harris, who hasn't been with the Niners all that long, they talk about him understanding the offense a little bit more. The fact that he hasn't been with them all that long, that wasn't the reason why that was a bad pitch. That was just a bad pitch, right?
It's a bad pitch. Yeah, I don't know what the reason was for, but it was obviously not one of their better snaps this season.
38-yard field goal attempt by Phil Dawson to tie it up. The 2nd oldest place kicker in the National Football League. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way, and we are tied up at 16 with 4:28 to play here in the 4th quarter. Gabbert had 50 yards passing on the last drive that resulted in a field goal to tie this game up at 16 with 4:28 to play here in the 4th quarter.
You notice when they've been able to connect downfield, they've been able to get some drives. You know, earlier they hit Ellington, and then there they were able to get Torrey Smith down the field.
They need to tee it up. Cunningham back deep to receive. But Cunningham has to run a long way to get this one. Now he's going to return it. And he'll get back to the 20-yard line, but then he's shoved out of bounds. Good special teams pursuit. All right, 4:21 left in the 4th quarter. Does Case Keenum have a game-winning drive in him?
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by New York Life. Here to help you keep good going. The Acura Oh What Fun It Is to Drive event. And by Verizon. Better matters.
So we're tied at 16 here in the fourth quarter. A quick update of the NFL playoff picture. Denver leads right now in its ball game. So if they win, they will advance to the postseason as the #1 seed. They're already in. San Diego just scored a touchdown, so that means the Broncos have extended their lead. Kansas City having a good day. They're already in as well.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of preparation for this. Adam has worked hard on his chart. Look at this chart. It started out basically as a full page today, and he's crossing it off.
Yeah, there we go.
As it goes on. I'm very proud of you.
That's a good chart.
It's a good
It's
chart.
very effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it after the game's over? Tuck it away?
No, I'm just going to leave it.
Yeah. 4:21 to play, fourth quarter. Hey, Case Keenum, his team's tied at 16.
There you go. One last shot.
One last shot. That's Wes Welker in motion. He's got one catch today. They're going to start on the ground to Tavon Austin. Not much there. Time to go to New York. We'll get an update on the postseason.
Philip Rivers says, hey, don't forget me.
It's getting wild. Peyton Manning leads the Broncos to 10 straight points, takes a 17-13 lead. Back comes Philip Rivers, 80 yards to Tyrell Williams. They now take the lead 20-17. And by the way, the Browns have announced that both GM Ray Farmer and head coach Mike Pettin have been fired.
Back to Tom McCarthy.
Tom, how do you let that defense let him be wide open like that? This is one of the best defenses in the National Football League.
Case Keenum on second down. Wes Welker up to the 23-yard line. Yeah, it's surprising.
This is unreal. Now, going, kind of from selfish reasons, I kind of want to see Cincinnati in that 2 spot because I'm sorry, I want to see Marvin Lewis and Andy Dalton get a shot to avenge the previous postseason failure. I don't know if I necessarily want to see the way this team is put together, A.J. McCarron in the first round of the playoffs next week. That's just my personal preference. I want to see them at their best.
Here is third down and 7 with 3:05 and counting to play, fourth quarter. Keenum rolls the pocket. Nobody's open. He'll establish a brand new one. He's going to be in trouble in a moment, but finds Kenny Britt. He can't hang on. Boy, Kenny Britt had it. He would not, or he would have had the first down by about 3 yards. And now the Rams will have to punt the ball away.
It's a couple times here. I'm very surprised. Keenum, the way I see it, had Kenny Britt open on a shallow crosser right here. And if you just get him the ball, I think he's going to be able to run for a first down. I mean, both quarterbacks here have been very hesitant to pull the trigger. And that's got to be the next step. You want to improve production in the passing game, you got to get the ball out on time.
Here's Recker, the Pro Bowl punter. And Ellington calls for the fair catch late at the 26-yard line. San Francisco, St. Louis tied at 16. Blaine Gabbert gets it back when we come back. Here is the AFC playoff picture. There will be clarity in about an hour or so, but New England lost today to Miami, so they're still sitting in a good spot, but it all depends on what Denver does. If Denver wins, they will take over that spot from New England. Denver's trailing right now.
How do you lose to Miami?
I don't know that answer either. And here's the NFC. Now, Carolina is moving on to that #1 seed. They're leading right now. Arizona's getting beat by Seattle. Now, Seattle, they threw up a clunker last week against the Rams, but they'll go in 10-6 and 2-time Super Bowl representatives. That's not a team that anybody wants to face.
You might get Marshawn Lynch back as well.
Yep. First down. Here is DeJuan Harris as the Niners are trying to at least get into field goal range with 2:40 to play. He stood up immediately. LaMarcus Joyner.
Well, I don't know about you, Tom, but I can't wait for the playoffs. I mean, to me, it's almost anybody's game, and I think we're shaping up to have one of the best postseasons that we've seen, one of the more exciting, surprising postseasons that we've seen in recent memory. But next week cannot come soon enough.
Gabbert fires it. Pass is complete to Bolden at the 35. He's a yard shy of the first down. And we are heading to the 2-minute warning here in Santa Clara. Tied at 16. Can Blaine Gabbert get his team into field goal range? Come on back. We'll see.
That is a 2-minute warning.
Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and a discovery at the bottom of the Bermuda Triangle, followed by a new edition of Undercover Boss, then back-to-back episodes of Limitless, only CBS. That's Phil Dawson, 40 years old, That's his range. So his target line is the 38 of St. Louis. His long this year is 54. His long for his career, and it's been a great career, 56. Gaskins in the backfield, and we've got movement with a capital M. Headline's been saying false start.
False start, number 61.
That's a killer.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Yeah, it looked like the officials were conferring about it, and then Dana McKenzie called it a false start.
Yeah, sixth Andrew Tiller is the left guard, and again, getting just a little bit antsy. But what a killer. 3rd and 1, now 3rd and 6. That changes everything about your play calling ability. And I don't think that these coaches want to go into overtime, Tom, just a hunch.
Gabbert is hit in the backfield. He tries to throw, and his pass is caught. Holden's got it. What a play. Gabbert was wrapped up. He was going down, and he just butterflied it out toward Anquan Bolden for a first down and more.
Boy, late blitz inside, and Gabbert under pressure hits Anquan Bolden streaking across the field in man-to-man coverage on Tremaine Johnson. Unreal play by Gabbert and Bolden.
27-yard gain, and this time he leads Bolden too much on first down.
That was a heck of a throw by Blaine Gabbert under heat. William Hayes providing the pressure.
That was an amazing play. The fact that he got enough on it.
Holy smokes.
Harris is back in. That's McDonald, or excuse me, it's Bell in motion. Handoff goes to Harris, has a block on the edge, and out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Well, they're getting close to field goal range with 1:43 to play.
So DeJuan Harris, one more time, and Blake Bell, Vance McDonald's two tight end set over there on that right side. Harris showing great patience, bouncing it out to the right. And the San Francisco 49ers, after jumping off sides on 3rd and 6, coming through in a big way at the end of this game.
So the three receivers down at the bottom of your screen. Gaskins is in the backfield. Blake Bell in motion. On 3rd down, Gabbert throws to the middle, incomplete. Trying to get it to McDonald, his tight end, who was coming off the right side of the offensive line. Alexander was in on the coverage.
Well, trying to run a natural pick. This is a rub route, trying to get both tight ends involved. And what Alexander did a really good job of is what we call tailpiping, getting right behind the tight end. And again, Gabbert and the 49ers unable to connect.
Well, they're not going to try the field goal here with 1:39 to play. We mentioned where the line was. They're 1 foot basically inside what we thought was the line for Phil Dawson. I'm a little surprised by that.
I'm shocked.
And the Rams will have it from the 20-yard line. Well, Jim Tomsula decides to punt. 1:32 to play. Game tied at 16.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Subway and the turkey breast sandwich with no artificial preservatives.
Surprisingly, that the 49ers did not attempt a field goal. It would have been about 54 yards from Phil Dawson. Instead, they punted on 4th down with 1:32 to play here in the 4th quarter. It gives the Rams the ball, and the Rams with 3 timeouts. Keenum dumps it off to Cunningham. And Cunningham lowers his shoulder. And man, what a hit that was, up to the 30-yard line. Again, 3 timeouts left for the Rams. 1:17, a little hurry up to get things going. Zuerlein has connected on a 61-yarder this year.
We've got to take a shot to Kenny Britt.
Instead, Keenum goes to the near side for Kendricks. Well, we think Dawson has enough leg, and our eye vision tells us earlier that he probably would have had enough leg.
Yeah, I don't know what you have to lose right here. At least let the guy kick. But look at, I mean, that looks good right there.
That looks good.
That's a good picture right there. I like that. That's a good look, eye vision.
Jim Tom Sula decided to punt the ball, and now he's putting it in the hands of his defense to keep this tied at 16 and maybe send it to overtime. Plenty of time on the play clock for Keenum. He's looking to the left side, and a one-handed attempt by Marquez, incomplete. It's third down.
Keith Reeser is all over it. Kind of surprised. Nothing against, Bradley Marquez, but, he's a young wide receiver here in a critical situation. Keith Reeser playing that nickel spot for Jimmy Ward because he had to go in and play safety, and he's all over it. Nowhere for Case Keenum to throw the football.
Marcus Cromartie checks in for the Niners. What are you thinking here in third down and 10? They need to get a first down.
Tavon Austin.
Team timeout. St. Louis. 30-second timeout.
Well, Jim Tom Sula's team 4-11. They have not won a game against the other teams in the NFC West.
Yeah, look, it hasn't been the best of years here for the San Francisco 49ers. And, I want to rewind it just a little bit. I think, you go back to that last drive for the San Francisco 49ers. I think, you really don't have much to lose. I think you should have gone for it or at least kicked the field goal. Playing for overtime, playing conservative. I'm not sure if week 17, before everybody's about to go on vacation, is really a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I guess I thought the same thing. I agree with you. I think that there were points to be had, or at least movement to be had. And we always say at this point in the year, you have nothing to lose, particularly when you're not in the postseason hunt.
It was a very conservative game plan offensively as well. I would have liked to see the 49ers be a little bit more aggressive here today in week 17.
Third down and 10. Keenum under pressure, steps up, fires middle of the field, and a leaping attempt by Quick. He can't hang on. Broke it up by Cromartie, who we just said entered the game. It'll be fourth down, and the Rams will punt it away.
Well, they had the matchup and the look that they wanted. A post route by Brian Quick with the safety out of the middle in the field. And it looks like that ball just hung up a little bit. If he would have led Quick more into that middle of the field, then Cromartie would not have been able to come and break up that pass, but a good play by the young defensive back.
San Francisco due to an injury inside of 2 minutes.
Well, that's going to be a timeout charge to San Francisco because of an injury within the final 2 minutes of the game. This pass nearly got deflected as Keenum let it fly.
It was close.
It was close.
It wasn't, that's one of those you'd like to see some zip, a nice little low line drive, don't let it hang up there in the air. A couple throws here today that both quarterbacks have missed that, quite frankly, if these offenses want to get on track, that they've got to be able to make.
52 seconds left. Hecker will punt this one away. It's another beauty. Ellington goes running back. They punt it away from him. It takes a roll inside the 10, inside the 5, and it's just going to die. What a punt by Johnny Hecker. I mean, you don't think he's still into this? That's a 67-yard punt. Officially now they say 68. Well, John Fossil is an excellent special teams coach, and he's got to feel pretty good about himself. All right, so now 2 timeouts left, 40 seconds to play. I mean, do you settle for overtime here if you're the Niners? Do you try to take a shot downfield?
Don't lose on a safety.
All right. I didn't think about that part of it.
Don't lose this game on a safety. I mean, your priority right here is just to give yourself a little bit of room, because you can lose on a safety, you could lose on a block punt. There's a lot of different scenarios right here for San Francisco. First and foremost, just get that ball out of there.
Wow, so they're going to settle for overtime as the clock sits at 35 and continues to count down. Fans are not happy about that here.
Yeah, you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm not. I think earlier they should have went for it or did something out when they were in field goal position. That right there, fans are upset, but
team timeout.
We're not talking about the most explosive offense in the National Football League. Your odds of going 98 yards in 33 seconds. I mean, let's be realistic about it. So you have a much better job of winning this thing in overtime.
So a timeout called by St. Louis. The Rams have one left. 27 seconds to play in regulation. Final regular season game. Kansas City Chiefs have won 23-17. Chargers and the Broncos are tied. It's at 20. And another timeout called by St. Louis. So
Third
again,
and final team timeout.
if
St. Louis.
Denver winds up losing that game, Kansas City comes all the way back 1-5 at one point to win the AFC
And
West.
Denver was 5-0.
Yeah.
You thought Denver was going to just run away with this thing. But, you know, I think it's safe to say that Kansas City has got a little bit more stability at quarterback than the Denver Broncos have this year. And, you know, Andy Reid with the ability to rally that football team and come back is, you know, one of the better stories so far in this NFL season.
Third down and 11. Gabbert from the 1.5-yard line takes the snap and dives forward. He's nailed. They'll spot it at the half-yard line. I mean, he got nailed, and here comes a flag.
Really?
12 seconds left. The Rams were doing everything they can to kind of push him back toward the end zone.
Yeah, they might get a safety.
Now, he's got 1 foot in the end zone.
Oh, that's so close.
I mean, so close.
Yeah, the ball's got to be in the end zone.
Right,
to be
the
a
ball's
safety,
out.
but still, I mean, they could get.
Walt Coleman, the referee for today's ball game, conferring with the rest of the officials. Boy, how strange is this right now? Boy, they're talking a long time. The flag was thrown.
After the play was over, personal foul, number 99, defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, now they can just take a knee out into the open field and settle for overtime.
They better get this game over quickly because those U-Hauls, Tom, that are waiting for some of these players, they're going to have to pay a little bit extra because those things are, you better believe, those are in the parking lot and ready to get out of town as soon as possible. So,
well, Donald called for the personal foul. And Gabbert will just take a knee with 12 seconds left. St. Louis cannot stop the clock. And we are going to have overtime. Week 17 of the National Football League. Little extra football here at Levi's Stadium. All right, so here are the rules in overtime. 1 15-minute quarter. A touchdown or safety on the first possession wins the game. If the score is tied after each team's first possession, the next score will win. It'll be sudden death. Now you get 2 timeouts and no coaches' challenges. The booth will review everything here in this overtime. Case Keenum taking a look at some of the plays to see if there's anything he can find to give himself an edge in overtime. Now, we saw last week when the Patriots and the Jets went into overtime that the Patriots decided to kick when they won the toss. I think most people would say, I'm going to take the football, but teams that have kicked are 2-1 in overtime this year.
it's a good stat.
Yeah.
See if they really want to get this game over with.
Walt Anderson will pop the microphone on.
All right, men, we're going to play a 15-minute overtime period. Each team will have the opportunity to possess the ball unless we have a touchdown or a safety. Each team gets 2 timeouts. Replay will be upstairs. St. Louis is visiting. You'll call the coin. He called heads. It is the tails. San Francisco won the toss and will receive. San Francisco will receive. Good luck, man.
San Francisco will receive. They win the toss. We're tied at 16. Overtime here in Santa Clara. For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS and the game between the St. Louis Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. Along with Adam Archuleta, I'm Tom McCarthy. Our score, We're tied at 16. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast. Ellington is back deep to receive. Patton has joined him back there. And the St. Louis Rams will kick off to begin an extra session here in Week 17. Ellington to the back pylon will just go out of bounds. Let's go to New York for an update on that Denver Broncos game.
Boomer.
Well, JB, first play after a Phillip Rivers interception. Ronnie Hellman's going to take this 23 yards, give the Broncos a 27-20 lead over the Chargers. Kansas City won, guys, by the way, 23-17. They end the regular season with a 10-game winning streak and finish up 11-5.
Peyton providing the big boost. Tom and Adam.
All right, JB, Boomer, we appreciate that. You know, I was in England when Kansas City was really starting this role, and they were fun to watch, and there they are. Winners of 10 consecutive games. It's first down, Gabbard off the play fake. He has Harris out of the backfield. He's been a safety valve today. Gain of 5. Injured player Brockers is down. Michael Brockers, the fourth-year pro out of LSU. He's had a solid year. Their defense has been plagued by injuries. A lot of defenses have this year. You have Ogletree, a linebacker, out. TJ McDonald out. Robert Quinn out. And now Brockers is down on his back.
Chris Long missed a lot of time with his knee injury as well.
Yeah, the Rams feel like defensively they will be even better. Now, depending on whether they're able to keep Jermaine Johnson and Jenkins.
It's number 90 on the left side of that defensive line. Kind of just goes down a little bit awkwardly on that leg.
I think that Aaron Donald may have stepped on him too. And he is up. That's a big man to get up.
Oh. I tell you what's the worst. It would be to get hurt, seriously hurt, on the first play of overtime in Week 17 in a meaningless game.
Well, here is the AFC playoff picture with the updated win for Kansas City. They are now 11-5. That's what they finished the season, a 10-game winning streak. Now they'll await the finish of the Denver-San Diego game. Denver will clinch the AFC West with a victory and the #1 seed throughout the playoffs. If they lose, Kansas City will win the AFC West. An improbable event back in early October. Second down and 5. Harris in the backfield. He'll take the handoff. And Donald makes the tackle from behind. They'll give him a yard. It'll be third down and 4. DeJuan Harris today, that is his 16th carry, 67 yards. For Donald, he's had a much busier second half as far as tackles go.
And don't forget, Harris has been really effective out of the backfield in the screen game as well.
Yeah.
He's been able to pop a couple big plays for the 49ers.
Yeah, he has 147 yards of total offense today. He's out. Davis is in. Gabbard throws to McDonald out of the backfield. He's got a first down and more. A beautiful hurdle up toward midfield. Third reception of the day for McDonald. That one at 24 yards.
Well, taking advantage of the St. Louis Rams defense being aggressive, bearing off the edge. McDonald coming out of the backfield, and it looks like right there, you know, it's hard to see. You don't really know what the defensive assignments are, but James Laurinaitis losing McDonald in coverage, and a good play by the 49ers offense.
And a fumble by Gabbard. He'll get it back, and he falls backward toward the 46-yard line. William Hayes will be credited with the tackle.
Did he get stepped on?
I think he may have.
Yeah, Eric Piers, it looked like his right guard steps on him as he's trying to go back. Watch him right to his right side, number 71, that foot right on Gabbard's. And he's able to get the football back.
Boy, how lucky is he? Here's Torrey Smith, and he can't make the man miss on the near side. Janoris Jenkins with the open field tackle. He got back to the 50-yard line, a gain of 4.
Tom, you kind of touched on it just a few plays ago. They're going to have a decision to make here. The Rams are in their secondary. Janoris Jenkins and Tremaine Johnson, both of them going to be free agents after this year. And Jenkins, who was, had a really good start to the season, shut down those negotiations in October, said, you know what? I think I'm going to bet on myself. I think I'm worth a little bit more than you're going to give me. So the Rams have a choice to make there.
3rd down and 10. Gabbert throwing to the far side. Nearly intercepted. He thought that Bolden was ready for it. Gabbert took a hit as he let that one fly. Aaron Donalds connected.
Yeah, pressure inside. And you've seen here in the 4th quarter, a little bit more pressure by the Rams defense. Aaron Donald with a beautiful spin move to get that shot on Blaine Gabbert. And the coverage downfield was pretty outstanding. 3 Rams defenders in the area. There's no way that Anquan Bolden was going to come down with that football.
All right, so now the Niners will punt the ball away. Tavon Austin stands inside his 10. This is a short punt. Austin will come running up, fields it at the 19. It is nailed by Bruce Miller. All right, we're going to play this one back. Regular speed. This is a huge hit.
Oh, that's good stuff. I tell you what, both these teams have come out here today. They're not laying down. They have played a physical style of football here today. There's been some big collisions, some big shots, and I think, boy, you like to see that from both of these head coaches. Nobody is coming out here and just giving this game up.
Next score wins. Tied at 16 in OT. That's Harkey out of the backfield as an H-back. Off the play fake, Keenum looking to throw. Has plenty of time. Throws it to the far side. Austin can't hang on. Incomplete. Broken up by Jimmy Ward, who really stayed with them as the two went to the ground.
Well, the 49ers secondary really passed this off very well. Tavon Austin coming from the left side of the field, and you see Jimmy Ward coming out of the middle to cover that crosser. And you can see that ball hits the ground as Austin is going to the ground. No catch.
Yeah, no control. 2nd down and 10. Every replay is reviewed upstairs. There's no challenge flags thrown.
Safeties here today for San Francisco played pretty well.
Trey Mason keeps his feet moving. He's got a 1st down. That's a good hard run by Mason. Gain of 11 yards.
Boy, that is a good hard run. He's going to follow Garrett Reynolds, the veteran, on this offensive line. Look, he breaks 2 or 3 tackles right there, falling forward. That's exactly what you want. You talk about Todd Gurley and all the wonderful things that he brought to this football team. One of the more underrated aspects is the fact that he was a closer. He did his best work in the 4th quarter. And so now Trey Mason getting a chance to close this game out as well.
Under 30 yards on the ground today for the Rams, playing without Gurley, who's out with the injury. Gain of 3, 2nd down and 7. Greg Zuerlein, 61 yards is his long this year. 3 of his misses this year have been 60 yards or more. That's pretty incredible confidence inside the dome. On 2nd down, Keenum threads the needle close to the 40. Gain of 9 on the play. Kendricks with the reception. Don't forget, back in 2012, these two teams did finish in a tie. And that year, the Rams were 7-8-1. This year, they're trying to get to 500. 3rd down, less than a yard. Big backfield with Cunningham as the deep man. Harkey as the fullback. It's Cunningham. And he's got a 1st down. At least it looks like he does. Right at the 40. So Walt Coleman signaling 1st down. Well, you mentioned it before. There's Gurley out with a foot injury. It's actually a toe injury. They listed it as a foot, but it's the toe that's bothering him. You mentioned it before. These two teams have played hard today. It's your head coach. It's all you can ask. And if you're a Rams fan, there's a little bit more that you can ask for as the season winds down. Here's Keenum. Pocket is wide open. Middle of the field to Kenny Britt. Hodges and Reed in on the coverage.
Good from Case Keenum because he wants to go over here to this side, but the 49ers took that away. So as you watch him look to his left side, he's able to see Kenny Britt coming open late over the middle, and you want to see more of that from this offense. This is that intermediate passing game, throwing that ball over the middle. I mean, you just haven't seen enough of it, and that's what they need if they want to have great balance in their offense.
And if you think that Zuerlein has a 60-yard leg, they are within his range right now. They went past the target line on that pass play to Kenny Britt. Now they're back beyond it as Trey Mason was wrapped up by Navarro Bowman.
And Eric Mangini, the defensive coordinator, knows that they are in fact in field goal range. That's why you saw him bring pressure right there to do everything he can do to knock them back as far as they can and get out of that range.
As we mentioned during the outset of this drive, the next score wins for either team. There is Mangini in the middle. Second and 12. Benny Cunningham checks in. Three receivers to the bottom of Case Keenum. Keenum's had a clean pocket most of the day. Right through the middle. Pass is complete to Cunningham down to the 31.
Big play call right here from Rob Boris, the offensive coordinator. You set Cunningham to the tight end side. You ensure the matchup with a linebacker. Cunningham runs the angle route inside. That's just an easy throw and catch to Keenum and Cunningham. And an excellent play call to pick up that first down.
Niners stopped on their drive here in overtime, so it gives the Rams possession, and the next score wins. They're well within field goal range, but they're trying to add to it. Here's Mason again. Follows the block of his right guard and gets down inside the 30. Hodges makes the tackle by the ankles. I mean, if you're Jeff Fisher, you're just rolling right now. You want to get as close as possible. You still have plenty of time, obviously. You got to get first downs, but you want to just get as close as possible.
Sure, and you know, hey, you like this drive from St. Louis, and if they played more like this throughout the season, then maybe you'd see a little bit better offensive numbers. But you saw Keenum throw the ball down the field. You saw some good tough running by Trey Mason. You saw Cunningham on third down, get out of the backfield. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that you want to see from the Rams on offense.
Marquez in motion. Cunningham trying to find a little bit of daylight. Nothing there. Stopped at the 25. Eli Harold makes the tackle. Well, Greg Zuerlein on a cool day is trying to stay as loose as possible. They lost 3 on the play. It'll be third down. Jim Tomsula knows that the Rams are within field goal range. At this point, it'll be about a 47-yarder. It's not a chip shot by any stretch.
Yeah, and if you expect pressure right here from Eric Mangini, you might want to think about maybe calling a screen pass and take advantage of an aggressive defense.
Welker's in motion. Instead, they hand it off to Cunningham. Nothing to the right. Tries the left. Not much there again. Gerald Hodges makes the tackle. All right, let's go to New York for an update.
Fourth down play by San Diego.
That's right, 4th and 6 right here. Phillip Rivers, desperation down the middle of the field. He does not connect with his wide receiver. The Denver Broncos take over on downs with about a minute and 30 seconds to go right now. It's 3rd and 7. San Diego has no timeouts. Remember, if Denver wins, they are the #1 in the AFC.
Back to Tom McCarthy.
All right, guys, here we have Greg Zuerlein attempting a 48-yard game-winning field goal. Becker is the holder. Good snap, and it's deflected. It's picked up by the Niners. Dante Johnson deflected it, and it was picked up by Jimmy Ward, and the game will continue. Remarkable. Watch it again.
Yeah, Johnson's going to come off this right side, 6'2" frame with long arms.
Oh.
You see him as he lays out there and gets the block. This is unbelievable. These two teams love playing football so much, they want to keep this thing going, Tom.
Outstanding. I mean, that is as athletic a play as you're going to see in the open field. That's tremendous. All right, so here we go again. The Niners with 4:49 to play. We're tied at 16 in overtime. DeJuan Harris in the backfield, 16 carries, 67 yards this afternoon, but Gabbert will throw. And he'll dump it off to Harris, who's been very effective in the pass game as well. And a flag comes in. Gabbert was hit late, and he's slow to get up. I think William Hayes hit him late.
Personal foul, rubbing the passer, number 95, defense. 15 yards, first down.
You see Hayes, he goes below the knee, and that's where they get him. Watch Gabbert. They're trying to get Blake Bell down the middle of the field, and you see right there, yeah, you just can't go down behind.
I think Hayes is feeling he was pushed into him by Vance McDonald.
Yeah, you just can't do that. But they were trying to get Blake Bell down the middle of the field, but James Laurinaitis with just hauling his tail down the middle of those hash marks.
Well, it's essentially a 21-yard gain, 6 on the play, 15 on the penalty. First down from the 47. Now, we mentioned that Dawson's field goal range, they need to get to about the 38, but they got there earlier and didn't attempt a field goal. So we'll assume they've got to get deeper than that. Gabbert, quick toss. Torrey Smith has it inside the 40. He'll be down at the 38-yard line with 4.5 to play here in overtime. There's Dawson getting himself ready after a 15-yard pass play.
Yeah, there's what they're looking for. Remember, just earlier in that fourth quarter, they tried to hit the exact same pass, but poor timing. That time, they're able to connect for a big play.
Gabbert to throw again. Anquan Bolden tries the one-handed grab, broke it up. Rodney McLeod. All right, so that blocked field goal, we've got eye vision. Let's take a look.
Dante Johnson right here coming off the edge. You see that is great extension laying out, and it doesn't get any better than that.
Almost looked like he caught the ball as it deflected.
That would have been sweet.
That would have been sweet. Second down and 10. Gabbert has to take care of the football here. Quick toss to the outside. Pass is complete to Patton, and Patton is inside the 30. Breaks a tackle inside the 25. He's inside the 10. Down to the 5-yard line. Now they're well within field goal range. A 33-yard pass play.
There's one-on-one right here, and you see Patton, Maurice Alexander. Number 31 right there has a chance to make the play in space. Rodney McLeod has a chance to make the tackle. And if it wasn't for Eugene Sims hustling down the field, this game would have been over. But how about these receivers? Quentin Patton, we haven't seen his number called yet today. On a quick screen, makes a huge play for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, the Niners use one.
13 timeout, San Francisco.
One of their 2 timeouts. With 3:31 to play here in overtime.
Well, you're going to see Patton up here, and this is a quick screen, and Maurice Alexander is playing way off in coverage. You see all of the St. Louis Rams up near the line of scrimmage. Alexander is on the tight end, and that's just after the catchability, making something happen in space, and 49ers responding very well here to get inside the 5, to get on the 5-yard line.
All right, so Phil Dawson's made 3. He's attempted 3 field goals today. This to win the game from 23 yards. The 40-year-old in his 17th season in the National Football League. He's not sure what his future holds. Pinion is the holder. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way, end over end, and the San Francisco 49ers have defeated the St. Louis Rams 19-16 in overtime. Hard to salvage a 4-12 season, but that's what the Niners have done. He did not get an opportunity in regulation, but he gets a chip shot here in overtime. Is it Jim Tom Sula's last game? If it is, he'll leave with fond memories. 19-16 the final score. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes, followed by a new edition of Undercover Boss and Limitless. So for Adam Archuleta, this is Tom McCarthy. Thanks to our entire crew, saying so long from Santa Clara. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50.